Hello, everybody. Welcome aboard to another Wednesday show. Hope everybody is going well. I was playing around with the QFX here that I did not use in a long time. Voice of Vietnam.
It is a follow-up event of the previous ARF workshop held in Nha Trang in February this year and the other ARF forums on Eco's in 2011 and 2014. Lady Did my director of the Department of Law and Treaty.
So I had not used that QFX boombox in a little while, and I thought, hey, I was looking at the radios, and I thought, hey, it's there. And I haven't turned it on in months. So I thought, why not check it out? I tried to put the MLA30 loop on it, but it just doesn't receive enough at all when I put it on. So it's totally overloaded. So what I did is I took an alligator clip and I just did a few turns around the antenna. But it suffers from terrible FM breakthrough. So it doesn't work very well with that. But anyways, it's, I was listening to the Voice of Vietnam via WHRI here. So it does the job. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is the Wednesday edition of the show, and we are live, of course, every Wednesday and Friday. Wednesday is at technically UT Thursday 0 UTC. It's Wednesday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific in North America. And we have Friday, that is 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. That's 20 UTC. And it's nice to have you all here. My name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And this is a radio show. We talk about radio. We tune the bands. We do all sorts of things. We're going to talk a little bit about, this is going to be Digital Week. We're going to call it like that. So today, a little intro on what digital modes are all about. And Friday, when I'll be on the other side, we'll have actual decoding of digital signals on the screen. So you guys can see what it looks like. So hopefully this is going to be an interesting week. Somebody had asked me to talk more about digital modes and setting up software, and I thought, you know what? Yeah, let's do something like that. And of course, that also meant that the live shows is a great time to talk about it. And I think it's going to be great. And there's a lot of digital modes that I actually have never really dabbled with that I need to learn more about. That some of you are more advanced on some of the sides there than I am. This morning I was listening to some FT8. I started out because my laptop that I use with the SDR Play, I couldn't decode any FT8 or anything with that software for some reason, and it drove me mad. So this morning I just fired up the WSJTX software. And I thought, okay, I got to find out why it doesn't work. And it turns out that it wasn't tapping correctly into the audio of the computer because I use stereo mix in my computer, which is virtualization of the audio within the sound card. And so when I actually looked at the settings, I noticed that it wasn't actually set up right for the audio. It was telling me the audio would go in, and it would try to decode, but it wouldn't do anything. And once I sorted out that it wasn't tapping correctly into the stereo mix virtualization, then the decode started coming down. It was working great. And I actually had an interesting station. Well, actually, I was using 30 meter band, which is very interesting. I was on 10.136. And you know what? Let me fire it up now. If anybody wants to broadcast, by the way, I'm on 10.136 upper sideband. And I'm firing up WSJT right now. And we'll see if it decodes anything tonight. 10 megahertz seems to be very quiet, but you know, that software is just a miracle. It decodes things that you don't even hear. So we'll see if it doesn't work there. I'll probably look more at the a lower frequency, maybe the 40 meter band or 80 meter band. We're gonna check that out, but I'm gonna leave it there, see if it decodes anything. Right now I'm 10.136 upper sideband, so I actually let it decode all for at least 2 hours this morning, looking at the different stations. I mean, 30 meters, 10 megahertz was just amazing. I was receiving signals from the West Coast. There's a VA7 station. I was receiving signals from Europe. There was an IK2, something like that, from Italy. And then got really amazed when I got a 5T5 station from Mauritania. So it was kind of cool. So I just decided to, let's check it out and let it, go. So right now here on 30 meters, it seems to be dead. But we're gonna try 40 meters if it doesn't work there. 40 meters should be open, pretty much. So welcome everybody. Hope you will enjoy the show today. I've got my usual beers. I got 3 beers. So this one is a blonde, de Chambly. Take care. Cheers. Let's have a great show. You know, when you want to sneeze, but you're just there, but it just doesn't want to. Okay, maybe it's going to be okay. There's a nice chat room for people that want to join in. We have a lot of fun there. There's great people. I mean, I think it's one of the most amazing chat rooms that you can have with the best people around. It's really, really cool. So join in and have fun. Talking of chat room, hey there, we have William Conlon, nice to have you here. Radioactive, nice to have you on board. Balmy, Oregon. Wow, here it's minus 9 Celsius, which I guess is somewhere in the 20s. In the 20s. It's really cold for this time of year. Matambale, nice to have you on board. From Colorado, Tom Jones, nice to have you here. Louisiana, wow, it was cold in Louisiana. I saw that the cold air was going down a lot. We had our first snowstorm here this week. Some of you saw the pictures on the Facebook group. And if you don't know, there's a Facebook group. Yes, there is a Facebook group, which is the same name as this channel. Official SWL channel is the Facebook group. And where we are now at 150 some people that share logs, show their own shacks, that talk about radio. I post my loggings. I post a lot of what I do with the radio stuff, anything of interest. So it's a great place to join. It's kind of a compliment to this place because we have 2 shows. We have a beautiful chat room. Well, the Facebook group is there to kind of continue that. If you want to chat, if you want to talk about radio, well, that's where it continues in between the live shows, actually. The Expeditions, nice to have you here from frigid Ottawa. Yeah, probably as cold as here in Montreal. Tom Jones, it's very weird that you've got that problem with your PL310 ET, weak signal on AM. You know, it's almost as if when you plug in your headphones act like an antenna and improves the signal. Have you checked the signal levels? When you plug the headphones and you look at how strong the signal is and you unplug it, is the signal level staying at the same strength, but the audio is weak? Or is the signal suddenly dropping? Maybe that's what's happening also. Kevin Wood, nice to have you on board from Nova Scotia, Canada. Hey, bro Weaver, nice to have you on board. No, not really. The only thing that I got to say about Don Cherry is it's time that he's gone. It was time that he was gone 10 years ago. Bobby Burgess, nice to have you here from Louisiana. Terry Cook, nice to have you here. KF7BQ in Western Montana says hello to Elizabeth. I hope Elizabeth is watching tonight. Please let us know, Elizabeth, if you are watching. It'd be nice to know. What else do we have? Shelly Sykes, nice to have you here, Shelly, from South Central Pennsylvania. William Helms, nice to have you here from Florida. Northern Dawn, nice to have you here. Moonfest Madness, nice to have you on board. Always excitement, William Helms, when we build something of our own. It's always kind of fun. Jerry DX, nice to have you here, my friend. Brent, nice to have you on board from Brockville, Ontario, Canada. Rufus Newt, nice to have you here from extremely frigid Laurentian Valley, Ontario. Wizard of Oz, nice to have you on board. KC9TVN, nice to have you on board, my friend. WF7I Ombru, nice to have you here, my friend, from Virginia. Happy to do more radios on a Wednesday night. Cool. Dave Belial, nice to have you here. WA1UJA from New Hampshire. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's fun to see everybody from around the world. I mean, it's just so cool. Moonfest Madness, no receipt for me tonight. Got his beacon running for Whisper. Okay. Page Master, nice to have you here. KC5VOY, WAS5136SWL in Moore, Oklahoma. And he's having a beer called F5. Wow. Jeff Barrett, nice to have you here. Happy Friday or Wednesday. Jersey bound, nice to have you on board, my friend. Thanks for the donation, by the way. Keegan. Keegan in Northwest Arkansas. Nice to have you here. 43 Fahrenheit over there. Arders Alleycrafter's Kitchen. Nice to have you on board from Worcester, Mass. Hope you didn't think I tried to load up the Facebook page with radio porn. What can I say? I've got some nice radios. Well, you know, it's the hobby. And if you got the radios, we want to see them. And yes, sometimes we might be drooling over our computers, seeing some other people's radios, but it's kind of cool. Timmy900, nice to have you here. Pretty cold here. Mark Ledford, nice to have you on board from Houston, Texas. That would be fun, Moonfest Madness. If we'll actually ask tonight a few things. Any AM radio operators out there that want to broadcast some digital on Friday when we actually decode, maybe that could be a lot of fun if we could see your call sign show up on the screen. I'll make sure that my software that I use has big fonts so that everybody can see the text when we actually do the live show. I think that could be a lot of fun. And even more, if anybody wants to try unusual digital modes on the handbands that we never hear, and maybe we can try to decode, maybe you guys can have contacts. I think that could be a lot of fun for Friday. So let's make sure that we try that. Moonfest Madness loves FT8 and FC4. Prasad Asaldekar, let's say have you on board from India. Vince Perrault, bonjour et bienvenue de Deux Montagnes. Nice to have you here. Radioactive is W7WXV, and he's currently trying to work MSK 144 on 6 meters via meteor scatter. Good luck. Good luck. Joe Sombra Newhouse, nice to have you here from Brazil. Moonfest Madness says 30 meters is always good for digital. Yeah, we need to try WSPR Whisper. I believe this software does it, right? Let me just check mode. Yeah, it does do it here. I need to try that out. Also, I've never actually tried Whisper. Never did. Need to check that out for sure. I'm gonna change frequency because 30 meters is dead. So I'm gonna go down to 7074. 7074. Oh yeah, I'm definitely hearing some FT8. Check out what stations are on 40 meters. We'll try 40, 80, and 160. See what I hear. Pagemaster, nearly all the bands were open this weekend of Veterans Day. Cool. Gordon Lyle, nice to have you here. WA9211SWL in Southern Illinois. And he's listening in the background. Hope everyone is good tonight. Cool. Mika Dalmage, nice to have you on board. Shout out to Glenn Hauser for using items. Yes, I saw the Glenn Hauser information. It's really nice. Lots of Glenn has been using a lot of my utility information recently, so it's kind of really cool to see that. Kevin Wood has hearing something on 10136, no decoder. William Moser, nice to have you here. James Powers, nice to have you here. KC1ENJ in New Hampshire. Zach Kalich, nice to have you here. Hola. Rick Satter, nice to have you here. Says, Joe, I'm a computer geek. You're doing a great job. I learned a lot about shortwave radio on your show. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. And this is what we are trying to do. So right now on 40 meters, there's VE2ERB calling CQ. EA5EN from Spain is there. There's F4EQE from France. K1RZ also is there. I got these weird... I need to check my lights. They kind of flash. And I noticed that every time they flash, there's a spike on the waterfall. 45 unit. Nice to have you on board, my friend. 68 degrees in Florida. Windfest Madness says M6 BNP. I've had a little snow here in the UK tonight. I'm shocked. Says Jill's Facebook page feels like home. I hope so. It's where we need to be really cool. Yeah, the headphones can act like a counterpoise. That's possible. It's like, you know, when you have portable receivers, have you noticed? A lot of portable receivers, you get actually better reception sometimes when you're holding it than just leaving it there on the table when you're listening in. And I think it because our body kind of makes that counterpoise with the radio. William Moser says it's cold in North Carolina. It's even colder, I bet, here. KK, nice to have you here from Fiji Islands. Pretty cool. More than 6 years, but still a question on my mind. What is your favorite shortwave station that you like to listen to? Mine is Radio New Zealand. You really like Brother Stare? Wow. Radio New Zealand is a nice one. I like to listen to a lot of stations, actually. We have, there's Radio Romania. I kind of like Radio Romania's programming. There are some interesting stuff there. I like to listen to... WRMI is cool with all the relays that they've brought of stations that were gone. It's really nice to have WRMI around. So, it's pretty cool. And, Handy Coley, nice to have you here. Handy Coley. Nice to have you on board. Bobby Burgess. So the Russians is really testing DRM on that day. I thought it was a pirate. If I knew if the Russians was doing that, it definitely made the trip to the USA for sure. Yeah, well, I was looking at the EIBI. If you go on EIBI list, you will see that they have a DRM broadcast from Russia. And it's some kind of a test transmission of I don't know what. And I've heard it logged a few times, but I haven't heard anybody decode it. So it's possible that was what you were hearing. I've never heard of any pirates using DRM. Tom Jones, when I do a scan, it finds signals that I can't hear until I plug in headphones, and the signal meter doesn't change when I unplug the headphones. Okay, that is interesting. That's weird. Some kind of problem there, that's for sure. Really weird. Bro Weaver says CB Skip has really picked up last week. Gunner66, nice to have you on board from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Really nice to have you here. Moonfest Madness, yeah, we got a new sunspot of Cycle 25, absolutely. It showed its face. That's good news. Today's figures, nice to have you on board, my friend. Yes, we do need more sunspots. Jeff Barrett says, I actually said Friday? I haven't even had a beer. Pagemaster says, did you receive my e-letter about the waterfall in FLD? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the info, by the way. I knew there was probably a setting and everything. Actually, I need to do, because a lot of people have been asking me to do videos on how to change and use the different software. I need to take a lot of time to do that and be a little more serious. Eddie Essex, nice to have you here, my friend. Northern Dawn, yeah, some Tor and Olivia and all sorts of these things. L. Schreiber, Traub. Michael Satterfield, good evening. Nice to have you here, my friend. Moonfest Madness said managed to do 2,000 miles on Whisper in just a Raspberry Pi. Wow. Milroy Peter, nice to have you here. Pagemaster been decoding weather facts from the Coast Guard station and been decoding slow scan TV. Fascinating indeed. Absolutely. William Moser just got his new radio in the mail Monday. Texan R911. Not bad for a little radio. Lots of good stations I found. I just wish a radio like this had a fine tuning on it. Cool. Well, at least, it's always fun to have new radios. Joe Gomez, nice to have you on board. And Cool Tom Jones joining the Facebook group. Radioactive says, isn't it amazing how the ham bands open up during contest weekend? Yeah, all the time. I remember so many times seeing the 10-meter band not really lit up with any types of signals. And then one day, what do you know? You have a ham contest and the 10-meter band is wide open with tons of signals. Trimbali, Mr. Bale, nice to have you on board, my friend. What else do we have? Yes, fast load. I wasn't sure of your call, but I saw you in the waterfall a few times on 40 meters. VE2 ERB. So I got you here. Joshua Gosnell, nice to have you here, Joshua. Pretty cool. Is Voice of the Report of the Week. Well, I remember we were talking that Voice of the Report of the Week, the guy behind him, the show was not well. I hope that things get better. Joshua is W4GOG. Yeah, long time, and nice to have you here. Yep, YouTube channel is official SWL channel. Facebook group is official SWL channel. Northern Dawn's decoding FT8 on 80 meters. Joshua says, cold in Salem. Haven't been doing no shortwave. Lots of 20-meter ham. Cool. It's radio as long as you're doing radio. WF7I Homebrew says, we'll be calling CQ on FT8 on 30 in a few minutes. Try 40, because 30 I had absolutely nothing. So I'm getting stations like N3UBI, K1RZ, K3MAW, K0CYA, PP2RON. PP2 isn't Papa 2. I think that's Brazil, isn't it? Papa 2, I'm not sure, but I think it's Brazil. So it's cool to see all these stations. So 40 meters is... I saw somebody said hi, Jill. Somebody just posted hi, Jill. Okay, this is cool. Who did hi, Jill? Oh, man. That's for sure is pretty much directed at me. HI8 DAR. HI8, isn't that... that's in Central or South America, right? HI8. I'm going to fire up QRZ here because interesting calls here. QRZ.com. So HI8 DAR is from the Dominican Republic. So we got a Dominican Republic station there. And PP2RON, Papa 2, Radio Oscar November, is in Brazil. Absolutely. It's cool. Oh man, I loved it when I saw Hyjel. Oh god. What else do we have? Let's go down. Kevin Wood says, I have several e-skip alerts the past week from dxmaps.com. I did see some 11 meter activity a few times, including, I think it was on Monday night around midnight before I went to bed. I was tuning around the CBE band and there was some skip. Yeah, Joshua, here too. We had about 8 inches of snow on Tuesday. It was definitely winter. It's still winter today. I mean, I went out to get the beer, and I mean, it was cold, and it felt like winter today, totally. When are you really going to have to do VHF UHF show? I don't know. I don't know, Bobby. I'm trying to find out what I could do with that channel, the VHF UHF one. I know some of you are very interested in it and want me to continue. I've not been very active listening to VHF UHF. Actually, I haven't, apart from when there was the snowstorm a little bit and the other day, I haven't listened to the VHF UHF range in ages. So I need to take more time to do that. Bring the ICOM back alive with, maybe some satellite listening. So I don't know. I'm going to check it out. And of course, I'll let you guys know when that happens. Shambali, Mr. Bell. Is Radio New Zealand transmitting to the West USA at 1 a.m. Pacific on 5085? No, 5085 should be it should be WTWW. That is on that frequency. New Zealand does not use 5085. Jeff Barrett says we had about 3 inches of Canadian rain in Cincinnati. I like that, Canadian rain. Tom Jones says his favorite shortwave station, Alex Jones on 4840. But I called the president and was tuning WWCR. And that's when he told me that maybe I could listen to Alex Jones, you know that guy? And wear my 100% proof tinfoil hat to make sure that I don't get any radiation through my brain. Okay, Bobby. It'd be interesting if we could ID the station name or something. I did listen here, but I couldn't hear a thing on 11860. And that's when I looked, because I was curious. And that's when I looked at the IBI space list, and it was telling me that there's tests going on from Russia on 11860. TV Radio 72, nice to have you here from New Jersey. Arthur's Alley Crafter's Kitchen, been very lucky. Have avoided hearing Brother Stare spinning the dial. I don't hear him a lot. I hear him less now than I heard him maybe a year ago. He was more. There was a lot more channels with him a year ago, I would say. Tom Jones, been listening to Alex Jones and Shortwave since the 90s. Cracks me up sometimes. You know, I sometimes have left my receiver on Alex Jones because it's just, you know, interesting. Sometimes it's just funny. I don't want to use OBS for streaming. It's complicated and it doesn't work like I want. The software I use right now, Wirecast, does 100 times more things than OBS. I just need to set up the stuff and check out different things. I need more equipment actually to do a lot, to do what I want. Joshua says 10 meters is always open. Rufus Newt trying to educate himself on digital. Yeah, and you know, I've seen so many people actually not doing digital because they find that it looks complicated. Man, there's so many stations calling. You know, I've never seen that. There's so many stations calling CQ on 40 meters that the whole screen of the code is all green. Because when somebody sends a CQ, that line is always green. I have a full screen of green. Oh, man. So, you know, a lot of people don't do the digital modes because they find it sounds complicated. But in reality, when you take the time, it isn't that complicated, actually. You just need the time to, you know, set up. Keegan says a DXer in Eastern Pennsylvania received CITO Timmins, Ontario, on Channel 3 via meteor scatter sometime between November 11th and 12th. Wow. Wow. Man, I remember the good old days of DXing TV channels. This is crazy. William Helms are world famous. Oh, man. WF7I is calling CQ. 30 meters. Try 40 meters, WF7I homebrew. Because here 30 meters is totally dead. Fast load. Ah, that would be you. I thought it might be you. It was just so funny to see it go through the screen. Yeah, let me just check the schedule of... I'm just going to go here. Because New Zealand is right now using... I'm going to tell you the frequencies here. So on 5085, there's only one station and it's WTWW. If you are trying to get New Zealand is using 6115 15720 13840 11725 9765 9700 and back to 6115. The lowest frequency they're using is 6115. And at the time that you mentioned, 1 a.m. Pacific, which is, let me just get the graph. So this is 1 a.m. Pacific, is like 4 a.m. here. That would be 9 UTC. At 9 hours UTC, you should be receiving it at 9 hours UTC. They are on 758. 9765 is the frequency they're using at 9 hours UTC, actually, according to EIBI Space. Valley, Mr. Bale. I don't remember. You know, it's totally possible, but I don't remember Radio New Zealand using 5085. But I'm not saying it's not. Sucking the airwaves. You remember that one, Moonfest Madness? that was a brilliant moment when I talked about the MLA30 and it's like it sucks the airwaves. That was great. Oh man. Tinfoil hat time. Joshua says 10 meters was opened up to be British Columbia, Canada, and California Monday. Wow. Pretty cool. William Moser, if you were to pick your favorite analog portable, what would it be? Analog portable? Wow. Analog portable? I would probably go because it does what it needs to do and it does it really well. Well, wait. I gotta say that my favorite analog portable is that big Grundig right here in the background, because it's just amazing, and it is one of the most amazing radios I've ever seen. Which is the Texan. What am I saying? Grundig transistor, satellite transistor 6001, aka it's the same thing as the Grundig satellite 210. But if you talk about modern times, something that you can use now, I would say that one of my favorite portables for analog would be the very cheap Texan R9012 receiver. I mean, for $20, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. Rufus Newton, aluminum foil. Oh man. Tom Jones. Alex Jones said shrimp on Prozac are attacking seagulls. Oh, God. Well, you know them shrimp on Prozacs. They're attacking seagulls all over the East Coast. Wow. So 30 meter band is hoping in your neck of the woods. Cool. PageMaster is on 7114 right now. Hey, John N. Nice to have you on board. Joshua says, Alex Jones was my news I go to. Now I listen to Ground Zero on medium wave. WF7I is QSY to 40. So I'll keep an eye if I see or call. Right now I'm hearing a lot of CQ from EA5 EN from Spain. It's kind of quieted down a little bit on 40. Always the same station calling right now. How long is receive antenna for 3 megahertz? Pretty long. The lower you go in frequency, the longer the antenna. And at some point you gotta give in, you know? Michael Satterfield is loving his new Texan PL880 and ML830 antenna. Cool. Cool. I have several stations in the medium wave band at night that has ground zero. I've come across it many times. FM, nice to have you here. FT8 is easy to make contacts. William Helm says the tinfoil hat might be enough to receive 77 here on the scanner. I should have tried that. Tom Dennison, nice to have you on board. From Varadero, Cuba. Nice to have you here. You on vacation? Brian Penny, nice to have you here, my friend from Blistery, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Here it's -9 Celsius, which is somewhere in the 20s. And we still have that 8 inches of snow on the ground. Feels like winter. Keegan remembers picking up a CBC station on TV Channel 3 in 2011. Jeopardy was on. I remember Final Jeopardy segment was on. When the program finished, it was going on 9 p.m. Wow. I remember when I was really doing a lot of playing around with TVs in the 80s. The first time ever I came across Skip on the TV channels. And I saw an image, because one of the things that I always enjoyed, I've always been a fan of DXing faraway signals. And of course, TV was also something I'd like to turn around the stations, the different channels, and listen to what I can get from as far away as possible. So quite regularly, I would actually listen and tune in to, channel 3, 4, 5, and so on. Here in Montreal at the time, we had stations on channel 2, channel 6, channel 10, and channel 12 in the VHF range. And of course, the other channels were free, so that's where I would actually tune in. And of course, I would tune in the UHF channels also. But I had no idea. Back then I had absolutely no idea of what frequencies the channels were using. So I didn't understand why channel 2 or the CB, when I would use my CB, why was channel 2 affected so much? It's something I didn't know back then. I didn't have the knowledge. It's when I understood that channel 2 was, like at 56, 57 megahertz, which was almost a, it was an harmonic of the CB 27 megahertz. That's where I started understanding that the reason why channel 2 was so affected by CB signals. And, I didn't know anything about propagation. For me, shortwave, was at up to 30 megahertz. And for a long time, I thought that, the only frequencies that were really propagating like shortwave signals was always below 30 megahertz. Until one day, when I heard the 10 meter band and I was tuning my scanner radio, I heard something that sounded with a south, from like, it was an English accent that sounded like from Texas or somewhere in the south of the U.S. and I was kind of curious. I really understood and learned about the properties of propagation above 30 megahertz, especially the 30 to 54 and a little higher, and how they could actually in some moments propagate via different modes like sporadic E-skip or very high solar activity. I'm pretty sure I learned that by reading like Monitoring Times or something. Somebody had an article that was like, TV DXing, and it caught my attention because it's something I like to do. And that's where I learned that, oh, really, when in certain conditions you can listen to stations so far away. And when I had that, we were in the summertime, and I had a black and white TV that I would use all the time to try to tune in to these channels. And I was kind of lucky because that week when I got the Monitoring Times and I was reading it, I started tuning channel 3, 4, 5. And it was like a Friday evening. I tuned around, and I remember it was a really hot, muggy summer day. And I tuned to channel 3, and there was a pretty good image. And here in Montreal, channel 3 was always usually WCAX out of Burlington, Vermont. But that wasn't what I was watching that night. It was different, and it was kind of like fading in and out, which was making me think that it was maybe something that was actually skipping. And I listened at least for 2 hours before I really got an idea, because every time we would get to the top of the hour, it would fade out, Murphy's Law. It has to fade out. Of course, it has to fade out when the station has its identification. After about 2 hours, I got a clear ID. I don't remember the call sign, but I remember it was from Alabama. It was from the state of Alabama. And I was jumping up and down like all excited. I remember my parents looking at me and saying, "What's happening? What's happening?" I said, "Oh, I'm getting a station in Alabama." And, getting the typical, "Oh, that's nice." Like, whatever. Who cares? And I was like, "Oh, man, I'm receiving a station." And then I tried channel 4, channel 5. I got something on channel 4 that was from, I think it was from Tampa Bay, Florida. Or at least Florida. If it's not Tampa Bay, it's at least Florida. And man, I spent the whole evening tuning into different channels on TV, trying to see what I can get. It was crazy. WF7I Homebrew calling CQ on FT8 on 40 meters. I haven't seen your call sign here. Oh, there's a Cuban station, CO2YQ, calling CQ. Joe Sambla Newhouse, this says, today I was explaining to a younger that audio could carry image and digital data. He became impressed and didn't believe me. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. People don't understand that what with just sound you can send an image. Yeah, absolutely. Keegan says channel 3 recession was E-skip. KK Texan PL380. Yeah, pretty good. It's a pretty good one, but it's not analog. But it's a really good radio. Absolutely. Keegan here's WHAS 840 at night in Northwest Arkansas. I heard WHAS 840 here a few times. The Expedition, I have seen some reviews for the Texan R9700. Seems like a good analog radio. It does have very good reviews almost everywhere. What made me not buy the R9700 was that I had the R9012, and the R9700 is much more expensive, and I thought it was a little expensive for an analog radio, but maybe it's worth it because maybe they just have that radio is actually better. Rodelva65 from New York City. Nice to have you here. Jeff King. Nice to have you on board. TV Radio 72. Hearing Shannon Volmet on both 3413-5505. Jean-Marc Letts. Nice to have you here from Strasbourg. And he says, Canadian Fins of Malt Beer and others too, 15 years ago at nearby restaurant located along a nice pond in Canada has us Friendship Association and meetings there. Aha, the Fins of Malt Beer. I think I got one. I think I have one of the Fins of Malt Beer. Cool. So you had some nice beer. Jeff Barrett, 1120 KMOX, St. Louis, had a show on Sunday evening called Trivia Spectacular. That must have been interesting. Right now, the beer I'm having is a Blonde de Chambly. The next one will be a... Let's put the hand here. And the next one will be the Beer of the Damned. La Maudite. 8%. So that's the next one on the list. Radioactive says, thanks for telling us about the group on Facebook. I just applied to join. Cool, Radioactive. Please do. Pagemaster, my MLA-30 survived the gusts of 45 miles per hour wind here in Moore, Oklahoma on Sunday. Pretty much. I already answered the question, Bobby. Listen to the show when you ask a question. Keegan, one afternoon I heard another station 840 before WHAS completely took over. KTIC in West Point, Nebraska. Wow. You guys are giving me making me want to listen to medium wave later tonight. I like to do that before going to bed. Using the AN200 antenna. Kind of fun. Tom Jones, full wave antenna for 3 megahertz would be 333 feet long. Better have a good yard or a big forest. Jeff Barrett says, I just bought a Texan R9700DX analog goodness with a warm light. Cool. Tremoli, Mr. Bell, how much has the price for MLA-30 increase inflated? Well, the place where I purchased it still has some at $44 US, which is the exact price I paid. Oh man, with a tinfoil hat, you better stay out of the lightning for sure. Anybody else saw the stream go offline for 3 seconds? Here everything is good, so I don't have any anything that indicates that I was off or anything. Everything's in green. John, can you describe your antennas outside? Have you tried a half square wire antenna? I heard that it's bidirectional and quiet. What I have right now outside is in the backyard. I've got an 80 feet long sloper, which is a kind of a wire antenna, but a sloper is, it has a slope. It's a antenna that has a angle, and it's oriented roughly pretty much west to east. Now that one is not being used much because now I have been using 2 loop antennas. The W6 LVP amplified magnetic loop and the MLA-30 Chinese cheap amplified magnetic loop. And they have actually improved a lot upon my reception because they have made things a little quieter, even though I still have a lot of noise around here. What else do we have? Tom Jones, get the full wave for antenna, divide frequency in megahertz into 1006. Yep, something like that. Kevin J. Napalo, nice to have you on board. WS2H. Please, shortwave enthusiasts, consider ham radio. The art is dying. Other than nightly nets on HF and HF contesting. Remember Ragchu and CB Mania. Yeah, we need to make sure that the hobby continues. That's for sure. Griffith's new TV repair helped fund my college. Cool. Mickey Dalmage says, well-known former HCJB DX party line host Rich McVicker, who now lives in upstate New York, is still a very active TV DXer. He did a forum at Winterfest a few years ago. Wow. How has, one of the aspects of this makes me want to understand something. How has and does, are there some digital TV DXers? I mean, now that a lot of the stations on TV channels are now, well, the majority of them, especially in North America, are all on digital. Trembali Mr. Bale had an FM station 95.1, propagated a bit further than it should a few days ago during some heavy, thick fog. VHF in the 90 megahertz range often has something called inversions. When the weather is, cold to warm to when the cold front or warm front passes by. And it often enhances VHF signals and make them go a lot further away. Kevin J. Napala says, ham on, brothers and sisters. The Expeditions says, back in the 80s, I owned a 12-inch black and white TV. I once heard local police break through the audio briefly while watching a TV show. Oh, wow. They must have been, like, real close to you for some reason. Tom Jones repaired one old analog TV in my life for a friend. Tapped around a circuit board with a piece of PVC pipe and found a cold solder joint and fixed it. That happened a lot. A lot. Trimballi Mr. Bell gets 15:50 a.m. from West Florida. Out between Madras, Oregon and Warm Springs, Oregon during daylight. Wow. Keegan says Channel 3 here in the full power analog TV era during normal conditions was PBS station KOET in Eufaula, Oklahoma. Tremelli, Mr. Bell, what's the difference between dual conversion, single conversion, no conversion, and triple conversion? So, basically, your receiver. So no conversion, it would be a very direct receive. A crystal radio has no conversions because it doesn't have any intermediate frequency. So in the radios, when radio started, there were designs that started, and one of the problems with radios at the beginning was they didn't have a lot of selectivity, and in strong stations that would be probably heard everywhere and overload everywhere. So they had to do different designs, and in some of the designs, when we came to the so today's radio designs, including SDRs, are still based on an old design called Superhet or Super Heterodyne, which was a unique design that was done at a point. And even radios today are still based on that. And what happened is that we started having receivers, first of all, with single conversion. They would actually mix in the incoming signal with an intermediate frequency for amplification and selectivity purposes. And that intermediate frequency, you can tap into it to do different things. The difference between a single, dual, and triple conversion receiver relies on the fact that a single conversion receiver often has images. So, for example, the most common single conversion frequency is 455 kilohertz. Multiply that by 2, and you'll get 910 kilohertz. And a single conversion radio will often have an image. A perfect example. The radio I've got here, the QFX, is a single conversion. And so if you hear a strong station on the frequency, say, I'll give an example here. You're listening to Radio Vanicube on 6000, and it's extremely strong. A single conversion receiver, and that one also here up here is one of them, the DX100, means that at 6910, you're probably going to hear Radio Vanicube also at twice the frequency of the intermediate frequency. So that causes a problem. Is in an analog radio, the first thing you'll think is which frequency is a good one? Is the 6000 frequency the good one, or 6910 the good one? So to eliminate that, they made a dual conversion radio. In the dual conversion, there are 2 intermediate frequencies. And what they try to do is put the second intermediate frequency high enough that the images that it creates are out of the range of the radio itself. So often they'll be in megahertz. And if you look at where they should land, most of the time you'll see that they land above 30 megahertz, 2 times the frequency of the dual conversion frequency. And then they did triple conversion receivers that add bells and whistles. In a triple conversion receiver, they use a much higher frequency once again. They can tap into that to for all sorts of technical purposes and try to make things better. Honestly, when you're at double conversion, you're already pretty good, and the radio is pretty good. Triple conversion will add ways to tap into different other areas of the electronics to add capabilities to the receiver. They because at the triple conversion, already a dual conversion doesn't have images. It's for other purpose actually that you'll have a triple conversion receiver. And that triple conversion usually gives you very, very high frequencies. A lot of scanners are triple conversion for the purpose of trying to eliminate images that would appear. You know, you would listen to a VHF signal. You don't want it to appear in the UHF range, for example. DJK Solo, nice to have you here. WF7I just worked the N3 RES. Cool. 40 meters. So, but on FT8, there's a lot of stuff on FT8, though. I don't know if there's quite a lot of stations from the United States, at least. Trying to see, there not a lot of Europeans. There was that Spanish one, the guy from Spain earlier. It seems to be concentrated a lot on U.S. stations at this moment on 40 meters, 7074 FT8. Jeff King got the R9700 DX. It's worth the price. Very sensitive. Yeah, it must be pretty good actually. When I saw the price, I thought, well, they probably improved, and it's probably much better than the R9012, which is half the price of that. Chimbali, Mr. Bell, La Resolution, not tonight. I do have 2 in that case of beer, but I'm not going to do it tonight. For sure. Kingman Public Access TV. How do you transfer the recorder audio from your ICR20 to the computer? Do I just record off the headphone jack? Nope. if you have Windows PC, all you need to do on the R20 is go. So there's a micro USB connector here that connects to your computer. This will show the ICR20 as a serial device. Now, the problem is you will need the ICOM software. It's the only software capable of transferring the audio. So you can actually get the ICOM software for transfer, and there you will transfer the audio directly to your computer. Now, the bad side is that it transfers it into a extremely bizarre format that no software can read. So you'll need to convert it. So you really need to convert it. Oh man, I'm trying to remember. I think I did a VHF UHF channel video on this. I'll try to remember that, and if you're on my VHF UHF, I'll try to remake that video this week. Unfortunately, it's not recorded in MP3. If you want to make it simple, what you could do is just take the headphone jack and record it with, Audacity through the microphone jack of your laptop or desktop computer. But you can download it directly. Cherry DX, how's the MLA30 handling the cold? Seems to be quite fine, actually, honestly. William Helms, yes, you know what? I was very, very intrigued by that Russian DSP receiver. Honestly, that would be nice to see. Tor Music, oui, ça va? Nice to have you here. Kingman Public Access TV, MLA30 okay for CB radio listening? Seems to work well. Seems to work quite well. Would it be as good as a 102-inch CB antenna? That's another story. But seems to do the job, for sure. PageMaster contacted on November 11th, Veterans Day, CWUSS Hornet Amateur Radio Club, NB6JC. Cool. Trimbali, Mr. Bell. Difference between using a long wire and vertical. We always use, so a vertical is omnidirectional. A horizontal or diagonal, which is a sloper, has slight directional capabilities. But mostly, the reason why we are using horizontal is because, you can't put up a 200 feet vertical wire. So you gotta put it horizontal. Cool, Rufus Newt, MLA30 goes up this weekend. That is nice. I can't wait to hear what do you think? Adolf Manson, nice to have you here. W9CFW. Cool. John McClure, nice to have you here. Good thing you checked YouTube. R. Walker, nice to have you on board from Washington State. Rodrigo Galter, good night. Nice to have you here from Brazil. And he was listening to Vatican Radio 7305, KBS World Radio 9605. Cool. WF7I says, definitely there are some digital TV DXers. Knew a guy in graduate school about 10 years ago. He was using Linux and several tuners. Interesting. Yeah, Terry Cook, atmospheric ducting, absolutely. Daniel Teagarden, nice to have you on board from Palm Springs, California. Pretty cool. Mickey Dalmich says, Rich McVicker's TVDX was from the Caribbean and South America, but there's still some analog stations. Yeah, I know that there's a lot of places there are some, and there are some low-powered analogs too. For instance, CTV Channel 2 in Brandon, Manitoba. Any Canadian city under 70,000 did not have to go digital. Interesting. Rob in Phoenix, Arizona. Nice to have you here. Fishkoff. Nice to have you on board. Some time ago, I bought a DVB-T USB adapter to watch TV on my PC. You think I can use it to receive any signals? You can use that DVB-T USB adapter with a driver, a special driver that is... so you download SDR Sharp, for example. And in there, you'll have a package that is the... trying to remember the... it starts with a Z. There's a package where you actually install Zadig. Z-A-D-I-J. D-I-G. What the hell's happening here? I've got a siren in the street. So, Zadig. Z-A-D-I-G. And you replace the original driver with that driver, and you'll be able to use it as kind of a, if you want, a VHF, UHF receiver. WF7i Homebrew. I saw that one, NF3R, in my waterfall, not the waterfall, but in the display of stations on a little earlier. Oh, I know why. They probably are going to take the snow. It's not it's time to remove the snow outside. That's probably what I'm hearing. I forgot about it. Not used to it. Kingman Public Access Scanners 3IFs. As you can switch between them to prevent images and enter mods. Yep. Take care, TV Radio 72. Scott Cranston, nice to have you here from Massachusetts. Wants to get into Greyline DXing this winter. Suggestions? The best suggestion for Greyline DXing is to know when it's sunset and sunrise at your location and the location you are trying to DX. That's mostly it. Because Greyline is very specific, and you need to be in the Greyline. And the station you're trying to listen to needs to be in the gray line also. That's why at certain times there are some stations that actually come really, really well. You can actually get them really, really well. And suddenly it just, stops after a few weeks or months. Because the gray line is always changing because of the seasons. So start by looking at a map. Live map. Like I posted a video this week or the week before. Last week, I think. Was it this week? I'm trying to remember. I post so many videos, I don't remember when I post them. Where you see the sunset, sunrise around the world. So what you need to keep in mind is you got to be in that gray line, which is where the sun sets or the sun rises at your location. And try to DX stations into that gray line where it is sunset or sunrise somewhere else in the world. Kimberly, nice to have you here from California. Yeah, there are probably some quadruple conversions, but we don't see that too much. Trimbelli, Mr. Bell, Radio Shack Pro 51, a single conversion. Mine had a lot of imaging. The Pro 51 is probably a double conversion, but the double conversion made the images appear. Because usually the double conversion, the frequency they use, isn't high enough to prevent you from hearing VHF signals in the 400, 500 megahertz area as images. For example, the ICR20 here, which goes to 3 gigahertz. This is a triple conversion, and in the very high frequency ranges, you do get images for that. I don't believe any scanner radios were single conversions. Most of them were dual conversions. But the problem with the dual conversion is that the second conversion frequency isn't high enough to avoid if it goes very high in UHF range. DRAF, TV DX analog used to be great in Boston and Metro New York. In the day, used to get Iowa, Texas, Florida, New Orleans on channel 2 and 3, sometimes on 6. Cool. Nice to have you here. There's another reason why your scanner could have images also, Tom Jones. A bad design of the RF circuitry. Really bad design of the RF circuitry. And that can actually make images really appear across the scanner. There were a lot of scanner receivers that also used a trick that is a up converter. So some receivers, what they did was, or a down converter, sorry. So what they did is, in reality, the receive signal on was received with a circuit that would actually down convert it to the receiver's frequency in order for you to listen to it. So what it meant is that radios will use a down converter. So for example, once again, the R20 has a down converter because above 1.6, 1.7 gigahertz, it has a separate board that receives only the frequency range from 1.6 to 3 gigahertz. But in order for the receiver to have you listen to it, it sends that to the frequency range that the scanner can actually tune to and make you listen to it. And what happens with that is that down conversion has a big flaw. It's that if the down converted frequency for what you're listening to is on the same frequency as something that is around you, well, then you get images that are mixed in. If you scan through a down converter frequency, yes, the frequency on the display shows, for example, here 3 gigahertz. But in reality, your 3 gigahertz is down converted to a range where your scanner can actually be listening. So I scan 2 to 3 gigahertz on the R20. I will get a lot of images from the stuff that's in the UHF range, because that's where it's down converted. Kingman Public Access, yes, please remake this ICR20 transfer video. You know, it's a good thing, Kingman Public Access, is that there's tons of recording in it that I need to wipe off because I want to erase the memory so I can record other stuff. So it's going to give me an excuse to actually redo the video on how to download the audio and what I need when you need to convert it. William Collin, what's your take on the Ethon G6? I heard a lot of rough things about the G6. Not super amazing as a receiver in general. DRAF WCBS TV used to get pushed out in the middle of the day during hot, humid thunderstorm days. Yep, Audacity is a great program for recording, absolutely. I mean, for free software, it's just crazy. You got kicked off YouTube, Brent? Darn YouTube. You know, there might be a problem with YouTube today because I was watching some live tech shows that I watch on Wednesdays. And so many times I lost the feed. And I was wondering what happened. And by the way, anybody out there, hey guys, if you have a YouTube channel that you monetize, you got to abide by the new rules. If your channel does not send out content that is directed to children, go in your settings on your channel. Make sure that you click the I don't have child content here. I don't do anything for children content. To make sure that you have that done, because on December 10th, rules are changing on YouTube. And there's a lot of rules are changing on YouTube. So check that out, because if you are monetized, that might make a big difference if you don't act. And this is to abide by the new U.S. rules by the Federal Trade Commission, because YouTube and Google paid a fine because they didn't really act upon the fact that there was some children content on YouTube. So now they want you to actually specify. Actually, before this show, I clicked to make the live feed, and it told me, oh, by the way, you got to tell us if this feed is for children or not. Is it directed to children? You need to let us know that it's directed to children or not. So if you guys do that, the part of YouTube's new rules that I actually am a little kind of wondering what it means, they have a new phrase in the new regulations coming in on December 10th. And that phrase says something like, we can remove your videos if they aren't monetizable to us. And a lot of YouTubers are actually using that rule. Now, it sounds like this. It's not exactly that phrase, but a lot of YouTubers are like, what? If YouTube doesn't make enough money off of us, they can kick us out and remove the videos. Because it kind of sounds like that. It's really very, very weird. So I don't know. Anyways, YouTube is just crazy. Rogerio Kruger, nice to have you on board from Brazil, my friend. Carl Womble, nice to have you on board. WS7I, KC4, EZN worked FT8, short skip. Cool. Nice to have you here, Rogerio, desde Brazil. The RAF WCBS TV used to come in Boston when WGBH TV left the air. Cool. Man, I had so much fun DXing TV. I sometimes, what I would like to do is put an outdoor, kind of a little outdoor antenna and see what my HD TV can pick up off the air. There's a guy that I know that he never got cable. That guy always received over the air stuff, and some of the stuff that he wanted, he actually got off of the internet. And couple of years back, I met him. We don't see each other really often, but when we do, we always spend the whole day having fun. And he was telling me that he lives on the South Shore, in a very rural area, like in between two fields of corn. And I remember going there once, like 6 or 7 years ago, and like, wow, you live in the middle of nowhere. And he says, yeah, literally. And he was telling me the last time we met that he had put up he actually didn't put up. He was using his same, because he always had, this little tower with the antenna for TV. Because I remember being fascinated when I had met him the first times in the early 90s. I remember going there, and I was amazed at the number of channels that he was actually getting just with that antenna on his TV back then. And he's not a radio fan, but he's a big TV fan, and kind of DXing a little bit TV too. So he always would choose the TVs based on how good they are to receive signals, because TVs are like radios. They're not all that good at receiving everything. And if I'm not mistaken, he always told me that he bought Sony TVs because Sony TVs and tuners, the Sony tuners were actually better than a lot of, cheap TVs that you could buy out there. But I was amazed because he was telling me the amount of HD TV signals he gets super clear from the US and from Canada. And even stuff he didn't even know what it was exactly, because apparently there's tons of stuff out there, not just the regular channels, but there's a lot of sub channels that have different content and all sorts of weird things that you can actually get. And he was getting like dozens of channels that he can watch all sorts of things on just with the antenna. And he was telling me, who needs cable TV? I get so many things out of just the antenna that I was thinking, man, I should set up some little antenna outside just for TV DXing and just see what, for example, my 32-inch Sony TV I got here that I use. Like sometimes I think, man, if I put a good antenna on that thing, how many channels can I get actually? I'm kind of, it intrigues me, honestly. By the way, guys, I am 14 minutes behind in the chat, and I'm trying to catch up, okay? Rick Temman, nice to have you here. Purchased a Kato KA1103 on your recommendation. It's sweet. Thanks. Cheers from Florida. Amazing radio. For those that don't know, the Kato KA1103 is the same as the DXing DE1103, which is this one here. Da-da-da-da-da. So same radio as this one, and it's a great receiver. It's just the odd numbers for the keypad, but really nice receiver. Absolutely, it's a great radio. Kingman Public Access. Remember from one of your old shows years ago on Google Hangouts, hearing the police sirens clearing the parked cars out. Jean-Marc says, in the 80s, while I was trying to hear a late afternoon show of a Lebanese station with Arabic and French programs, I heard French talk. In fact, it was a French TV channel signal from neighbor's TV. Wow. ICR 9500 quad conversion. At the price that it is, too, it has to. Tom Jones, in the Google Play Store, you can get scanner radio app and hear police emergency all over US, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, absolutely. Trimbali, Mr. Bell, does Venezuela have an atomic clock station on 5 megahertz? Is it still active at all? No, it's not. They had YVTO, I believe, was the call sign. YVTO, I think, was the call sign of that 5 megahertz. I heard that 5 megahertz Venezuela time station years and years under WWV. It's not active anymore. John says, hey, Joel, I bought an ETHKit GR64 shortwave tube radio. Works, and I can't wait to get set it up and running. Cool, that is cool. Max said, strong, nice to have you here, my friends. Nice to have you here. Kingman, the R20 down converter is actually only after the high end of 2 gigahertz band, around 2700. No, it's lower than that, I'm pretty sure, Kingman. Maybe you're right, but I'm pretty sure it kicks in very early. It's below 2 megahertz that it actually kicks in. I got a service manual. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it kicks in quite early. Quite early. WS7I work W1OP in Rhode Island. Cool. Randy, Riverside, California. Nice to have you here. Tom Jones, handheld scanner bought in 93, still works. I also have 2 more tabletop scanners. They all work. I've got a Pro 43. I've got a 30-channel Uniden. I've got a Pro 92. I've got the good old Pro 2006. They all still work perfectly, honestly. WF7I Homebrew Providence Radio Association celebrating 100 years. Oh, wow. Cool. I haven't seen their call pop up here, so it's probably not making it here. Dave Todd, nice to have you on board from Niagara, Ontario. Max Strong says, really loving the Shortwave Hangout Facebook page. So cool to have everyone posting loggings and shack pics. Yes, absolutely. A lot of people are saying, this is great that you actually have done that. Of that on, that you actually created that Facebook page. It makes a place where everybody can, feel welcome. Once again, we're an hour and a half into the show now. There is a group on Facebook that is the official SWL channel. It's linked to this place. So YouTube channel here is official SWL channel. The Facebook page is official SWL channel. And it is the place to be in between live shows. And I do participate in it when I can. So if I listen to the radio, you guys will know there what I listen to. If I want to share some special information, I'll do it there. Anything that is kind of interesting. And it's fun because there's a nice interaction. People are posting what they listen to. And let's keep it active. Anytime you're listening to something, post it. Don't think that, maybe I shouldn't post that. Or maybe even if you're listening to WWCR, it doesn't matter. Whatever you are listening to, post it. I noticed that when you post, there's always a couple of people that are, look at that. Oh, I'm going to try it. Oh, I'm going to tune my radio, see if I can hear it where I am. Think about that part of that group as being an extension of the live shows. When the live shows are happening, we're all sharing the information here in the chat. When the live shows are not there, it's that place where we're all together and, are actually sharing that information. So, it's cool, and I think it's a lot of fun. Kingman, the new phrasing is for political propaganda, so YouTube can censor anything. Yeah, I know. Well, it's sad because YouTube started out as that place where we could pretty much voice whatever we wanted. But as it's getting crazy, the regulations and the rules are getting so tough. You gotta abide by a lot of rules. Oh yeah, absolutely, you're a rocker. I totally understand what you say when you say that it's a service, not a right. It's a company that deals with having stuff online, and it's just crazy. Trimbali, Mr. Bell getting some angry Russian on 26713. Okay. Or Walker, it's always funny to me when people treat YouTube like it's a public square, not a private company. No, I totally understand that, but it still has changed a lot since the beginnings. Yeah, Tom Jones, but you got to be careful what you say on YouTube. Honestly, it's the best way you can have your own content is go to a place and just do a website of your own, and you got to be careful. There are rules and there are things that you can't infringe upon. Free speech does have a limit, and I think we got to be careful with that limit because you can't just say anything. There's a way to talk about what you want to talk, and such a way that it will just sound okay, and not too many people will complain about it. Tom Jones says nobody knows what their TOS is, and hundreds of channels have been removed without, Remember also that a lot of stuff that happens on YouTube is due to some extremist content. And it's really, really getting kind of crazy. PageMaster. Back in the day, people who used analog TV set their TVs on channel 2 and actually recorded on VCRs. Yeah, I never did that, and that's what I should have done. Taozu, nice to have you here. Yes, the Malahi DSB Russian portable SDR is fascinating. I thanks to William Helms, I got the info today, and it really, really looks quite interesting, honestly. It's a portable radio that's big like, say, a Texan PL680 or Texan PL600, but that is a software-defined radio, portable software-defined radio. And it sells. It's a Russian-made. It sells in Russia for around $200 US. Kind of interesting. WF7i Homebrew, never used cable TV either. I've used either PC or now I use a Google device. Use outdoor TV antenna. Let's everybody just talking about hate speech and stuff. Let's keep it down, okay? This is a place for shortwave radio, not that. And let's just say that there's a limit to what we can say, and we'll keep it there, okay? What else do we have? And I will say another thing, guys. If you can't behave because of personal convictions, I will tell my mods to kick you out. And not just here, we'll kick you out from the Facebook group too. There are ways to talk about things. And here's not a debate about that, you know. DRF, when cable used to broadcast on empty channels 2 to 13 in the early 80s before cable boxes, I used to get CBS, HBO. Other quite clear because my neighbors were subscribers. Interesting. Tor Music, great point, Joel. Since TV went digital, analog TV seems to be there for the taking. Let's just say that if you were the company behind YouTube, you want to protect yourself. That's mostly it. WF79 Homebrew. Jill, the brand of my TV tuner is Channel. Oh yeah, the Channel Masters are well known. Channel Master stream. Just plug HDMI into your TV computer and plug in TV into the DVR. Kind of interesting. Moonfest Madness. Coffee at 1:33 a.m. You're going to be awake till 6 a.m. So you better listen to that gray line. Rob says Facebook group is great. Awesome pictures shared. Yeah, it's fun to see everybody's shack. Honestly, Jim, nice to have you here from Cold Rhode Island. Bob Pierpont, nice to have you here. Brent, Thanks for clarifying, Joe, the purpose of this channel. Well, you gotta. You might have your own opinions on different things. We try to avoid that because it's a very complex world we live in. And it's very complex what we all think of everything. But this is not a place for that. It's a place for radio. You know, our Walker, we just gotta keep the discussion to what we want, you know. Everybody is entitled to his own opinion on different things. But, what else do we have? What's on 7365? Sounds like Spanish. Yeah, I think that's Radio Marti. Yeah, that's 7365 is I'm pretty sure is Radio Marti. Yeah, it's Radio 01 to 02 Radio Marti. Broadcast to Cuba in Spanish. Take care, William Conlon. Bobby Burgess, can I add a tech question? Can you define a bloated OS in your terms? A bloated OS is, for me, an operating system that is too big. Well, in my terms. It's like bloated software. It's software that is too big in size, first of all, for what it does. That contains too much unwanted crap that you don't need. And that, because of that, will really, really slow down the computer. Our Walker, Greyline propagation, it's actually good all year long. But when you look at a map of radio signals, a map of the world and sunrise or sunset, you will see that the shape of that changes between winter, summer, and all of that. That means the gray line, that area where the sun sets or rises, because they're both gray lines, changes position through the year. So gray line is good when it actually brings you to what you want to listen to. So if you're listening to Asia and it's sunset where you are, sunrise in Asia, that gray line that is actually between both places is great if that's what you're looking for. So you gotta just listen to. So gray line might be more interesting at a certain time of year for certain people, for a simple reason, because it matches the area they want to listen to, and it works great. So an example of gray line that works great is, for example, Radio Thailand. Radio Thailand here in Montreal tends to be good when the gray line near Thailand and near the East Coast matches position quite a lot. And I'll often hear Thailand fairly well in those moments. It all depends where you want to listen to. So gray line propagation is a 365-day thing. It's just that it's a thing that changes all the time. So it will always depend on what you want to listen to. And so gray line might be specific to a time for you, depending on what you want to listen to. It could be good all the time, depending on what you want to listen to. If I would be a ham radio operator, I would use the gray line all the time to try to get all those countries that I want to always work that are difficult, you know, because it's a great way to do so. Max Headstrong loves the Shack picks. Cool. What's on 7360? I've got nothing on 7360 here. Got something on 7355 though, which I believe is the same as Radio Marti. PageMaster. Let me just check that out. I don't have my phone, guys, so I can't show anything right now. It would be a little complicated. So oh, you got a nice certification here, which is Route 66 on the air. Wow. Oh, you've got every station. This is so cool. Let me try to do something here. I will actually have it shown because this is very nice. So I'll download this and I'll try to have it sent to this is cool. You are really having some nice stuff there. Yep, united to our love of radio, and that's the important thing here. But you know, Jeff Barrett, your MLA30 ruined your other radio antennas. Well, same here. My sloper is unused since I have my loops. Honestly. Dave Todd still has his MLA30 indoors. I hesitate to put it outside because I would lose the ability to rotate it. Really helps at times. Yeah. Mark Elford, nice to have you here. Better late than never, they say it. They say it. Trimbale, data or something on 6942. Yeah, that's 6940 per sideband is the I don't hear it right now, but I believe it's the NATO link digital stuff. Like Max S. Strong says, in a complex world, it's nice to share a simple passion. Absolutely. Take care, Terry Cook. Let me go down here, make sure that everything is all right. Okay, WF7I. FT8 is very automated. Was calling CQ, then looked up something on the internet. Suddenly, boom, a station was worked and logged automatically. Cool. Corwomble. Cool. Welcome aboard the Facebook page. It's a nice place to be to complete the live shows actually. So we're at 159 members right now, and we even have Dave Toth, I just approved you. Carl Womble, you are approved, and Scott Allen Reed, you are approved, and that means that we are right now at 160 members. According to the group stats. And this is nice. 162 members, sorry. So it's pretty cool. 162 members now. And share your listening. Share everything that is radio related. Keep it, keep it a place where we are happy to share our own personal radio passion and just be happy. What else do we have? Muglone, nice to have you on board. Working the third shift tonight, so I cannot talk. Well, at least you showed up for a little something. Trim Belly, Mr. Bell, why source shortwave stations transmit on the same audio feed on two frequencies with the carrier 5 kilohertz apart? You often is because they are not sending out. Well, in the case of Radio Marti here is they're sending in the same place, but you can actually have a station broadcast on close by frequencies, or sometimes even on the same frequency, with 2 or 3 transmissions at the same time. And it's because they're sending that transmission to different directions. So they're not interfering with it themselves. Because, for example, say China Radio is broadcasting to North America on 6020, and it would broadcast to Europe on 6010. It could often do so because it's not the same target area, and it will not interfere even though they're close together. So that also has a kind of a negative aspect to it. Yeah, it does happen that a station does that, and that still that other signal is still heard and interferes with itself. That could happen. That's for sure. Tor Music, I'm thinking of getting SDR Play Duo so that I can hook up 2 aerials at once. Do you think it's a good idea? If you're going to purchase the SDR Play Duo, it's a great idea if you want to. And you might want to wait a little bit and maybe purchase also the SDR Play DX that's coming up in a few weeks, which is their brand new product. Also 2 antennas. Tor Music, I'd like to mention I am a radio operator, so I like having dual or more VFOs. So nice to have you from Vermont, K1RSK. So, yeah, that could be a great idea, honestly. And have 2 antennas. You know, I'm thinking of getting the RSP DX, which is the new one because it's improved on long wave, medium wave. Also has 2 antenna inputs. 3 actually. It has 2 antenna inputs, 1 B and C input also. So kind of interesting. Joey D, nice to have you here. Ever listen to Melissa Scott Pastor? Well, I hear her all the time. She's been there for a long time. Max S. Strong Jill is on the loop cult. C-Screen Skywave SSB or GP5 SSB Gen 3? I would get the C-Crane Skywave because it has a keypad. GP5 SSB will drive you crazy without a keypad. For sure. What else do we have? Like Moonfest Madness says, you gotta remember that MLA30, it doesn't just receive, it sucks the airwaves. It sucks the waves out of the air to make you listen. The MLA30 just sucks those waves away. Keep them from them, and you keep them from yourself. You know, it's like when it sucks the waves, nobody else can listen. Man. Matt in Colorado listening to This Is a Music Show on 5850. Wow, you're way back in the chat, Matt, because you are answering a question of something that's very old. Oh man. Jeff Barrett, thanks the ad on Facebook page, by the way. Cool. Wide data on 5770, 5770. Wow, I got nothing here. Propagation seems to be a little, tonight, a little off, gotta say. Yes, we have to do that. Rob is right on that. Welcome to all the new Facebook members. Yep, report of the week is on YouTube, absolutely. Trim Valley, Mr. Bell, weak ATC around 5.6 megahertz. Air traffic control. Yeah, antenna and an antenna splitter is a great idea. What's on 7160? 7160. I've got nothing. Yeah, it's the RSP1, RSP1, the SDR Play RSP DX. It's the RSP DX, and it's not yet out. It's supposed to be out in the next weeks, and I'm thinking that that might be my Christmas gift to replace my RSP1A. Tremelli, Mr. Bell, rare data on 5010. 5010. I've heard radio teletype there at some point. Right now, it's I've got a weak carrier on 5010 right now. I got a really weak carrier. WF7I Homebrew says, yeah, the SDR Play DX might be a better option. Forgot that is a new one, upcoming one. Yep. Dave Todd uses the RSP2 Pro. Use all three antenna inputs, including powering the MLA30. Cool. Man. Facebook page is official SWL channel. Actually, I can post the. I'll post the link here. I'll take it off of here, and I'll go here. So you guys, once again, we have a Facebook group, the official SWL channel. And you can actually join the group. Like I said, it's a nice group because it's a complement. It's like an extension of what this live chat is when there's no shows. And I post regularly there. Here we go. And here we go. I am posting the link to the page right here. So you guys can join in and post photos of your shack. Your logs, whatever you're listening to. It's really a great place to be in between live shows, and I think it's a great idea. I hesitated for a while for the Facebook show, Facebook group, sorry, because there's a lot of Facebook groups that I was into. Now, for reasons I won't explain because they are very personal, I have removed myself from almost every Shortwave Facebook group because I deemed that I wasn't, that there are groups and that's it. And I know that a lot of you are on these groups and it's fun and it's okay. Enjoy all the groups you have. I have removed myself from a lot of groups. In part due to criticism from people, and I was like, okay, you know what? I don't need that, and it's all right. Anyways, honestly, the other Facebook groups did not bring to me anything interesting, so I'm okay without that. And I hesitated in the other way of being in there because I didn't want to compete with any groups. Because I do realize, and I did realize when I was in the other groups, that if I started a group, I was pretty much in direct competition, which was not something I really like. I'm on YouTube and it was nice, but the lack of being able to continue or have something going on in between live shows made me think that we needed something to complete that. So I officially last week, the page was done. I did the page in August, but I did not advertise it or talk about it. And last week I thought, okay, it's time, and let's do it. And I wanted to bring, and I want this page to be different. I want this page to be where we continue sharing the fun that we have here. And that's why I actually did it. Moonfest Madness. Always on 40 and it's new. Pulses, 10, and rests. That's weird. Maybe some local stuff happening. I don't know. Dave Todd would get the DX over the Duo if you're remotely interested in low bands. Yeah, because it apparently is much improved on below 2 megahertz. And long wave, medium wave DXers are apparently going to be very happy with the RSP DX. Yeah, like you say, Max Strong, the Facebook page is like a 24/7 hangout. Absolutely. Absolutely. Rodelva 65's got 2 RSP1s, 1 RSP1A, an RSP Duo. Might end up getting the RSP DX. That's cool. Well, we have 7i just worked Hungary on 40 meters FT8 HA7TM. Wow, cool. Oh, absolutely, R. Walker. That's why I just removed myself. I was tired. I was totally tired. We were actually on FT8 on the 40 meter band for a long time. 7074 Matt. So it's pretty cool. Mark Alford, I don't have Facebook. Is it difficult to do? I don't even have a phone. Well, once in 96. You know, I think the what you need to do is if you know, and I'll say it here because if anybody is not on Facebook, okay, so let's keep that in mind. Okay, can you guys give me 2 seconds? I need to pee, and I don't want to stop now. And so while I go pee, one amazing thing. PayPal.me/shortwave or the PayPal donations to the Yahoo email that you have here. You can join in, give me a little something. I will go pee, and I will actually give you guys that are not on Facebook a little trick if you're scared of Facebook. A lot of people are, and but would like to join in. I'm going to give you a little tips and tricks. And so I'm going to go pee, and I'll be back in 1 minute. are back. Hello. This is the live shortwave show. Yes, the live shortwave show. And we will now take beer number 3. Trois Pistoles. This one is 9%. It'll get me a little tipsy, I guess. Oh, this was tough. And here we go. And so, it's not difficult to be on Facebook. So you go on facebook.com and you answer the setup questions. Try to be general. You know, when you set up a Facebook account, they ask you a lot of personal details. And, you know, honestly, you can lie about your, birth date. You can lie about, a lot of stuff. It's okay. There's so much personal info in there. And at the same time, don't go crazy. Unless you are the president of some country, I don't think there's that much of a problem with what's happening there. So just, create a page where you are not necessarily totally true to yourself and who you are, to keep it kind of a little anonymous, That's all. Brent, thanks for being such a great role model and ambassador of shortwave. I'm here to, we're here to have a good time, honestly. So W0MDK, I'm going to go back to 7074 here and check out the signals, as we're going to go back to here. There's a lot of signals on 40 meters. Our Walker says, what I like about this channel is, and your show is your positive outlook and the fact that it appeals to both new people, long-time shortwave listeners. You don't treat them any differently, which is great. No, there is no difference. There's no difference. And you're new and you're new. David Martin, nice to have you here. 7160, probably an international broadcast station. Yeah, but 7160, I got nothing here. But remember that the international broadcast band has moved. In the good old days, David, 7000, 7300 was used by broadcasters, especially 7100 to 7300. The international broadcast band of 40 meters, of 41 meters, is now 7200 and up. So on 7160, technically, it shouldn't be an international broadcaster. But there are some stations between 7100 and 7300 also. There are some clandestines that are there. Donate, too funny, donate to my piddle fund. Jeopardy team. Oh, man. I need an interval signal. Grape nuts cereal. Neither grapes nor nuts. Oh, my God. WF7i, wow, 40 meter FT, it's so busy and the screen scrolls completely off every 15 seconds. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. It's crazy. Crazy. Hey, I got a LU8 station. What is that? LU8. Is that Argentina? LU8? QRZ. LU8. LU8 XAF is from it's from, why is it so long to do the lookup? Let me just go back here. Is everything alright? Yeah. Okay, LU8 XAF. Argentina, Bernardo Ferreira. In Argentina, Santa Cruz. So I heard Argentina 40 meters. Pretty good. DRAF, we need intermission music for these breaks. Oh, man. Turn music's grateful to Joel for rekindling my lifelong love to shortwave. Mark Alford, thanks, Joel. Do you use your name on Facebook? Yeah, my real name is on Facebook, but the page that you are looking for is the official SWL channel. So the page is really not on my name. It's the page for official SWL channel. Julio Cesar Pereira, nice to have you here. Mike Anna 261, nice to have you here. Yes, absolutely. Paul the Cat is part of the channel, for sure. Let me just check it out here, by the way, because I saw that there was a lot of activity there. Official channel. So let's make sure everybody's feeling welcome. Please answer the questions when you do. So, what do we have? Mike Hanna. Yes. Robert Kulik. Nice to have you here. Gustavo Pinto. Jim Ferranti. And Jean-Marc Letts. There you go, guys. Part of a fantastic group with friendly people. And another person's joining. Nope, it's not. It seems okay. So, hey, guys, we are now at 167 members. So, pretty cool. Nice to have everybody here, by the way, on the Facebook group. So, like I said, once again, take that place to share your loggings, picture of your shack. You're listening to something unusual, don't hesitate to let us know. And it's kind of cool to just have all of you there. So don't hesitate. Julio Cesar Pereira got a beautiful Greenwich Satellite 6001, which is the one here in the back. But you had the you have the wood version. I have the chromed and vinyl finish version. Cool. It's an amazing radio. Joe Brown, nice to have you here. Using my MLA 30 loop indoors. I've found that rotating it makes a huge difference when tuning in signals. So there's moving it from window to window in my house. Cool. Pretty cool. David Martin, thanks for the 40-meter explanation. Max S. is not sure what he loves more, radios or antennas. Well, you need both, so you gotta love radios and antennas. Or else. So here's my Trois Pistoles that looks like a foamed ice cream and soda thing. Let me see what I look like in the camera with this. I got all the front. Look at that, guys. I got some even on my nose. Sorry, guys. I had to do it. So I'm going to wait for this to kind of calm down a little bit. It's a little... I got beer in my nose. Oh, God. Alex Kovalenko, nice to have you here from Sacramento. Nice to have you on board, my friend. Joe Sombra New York says 11629. Let's check 11630 here. So tonight we are supposed to talk a little bit about digital modes. I want to mostly express that what we use for software that is the most popular is FLDG. MLA and the MLA 30, FLDG and the multi-PSK software. They are multi-mode decoders. They decode just those two software together. FLDG, and multi-PSK. Probably decode 80% of everything you can decode. WSJTX is an exception. It is very unique for FT8, FT4, JT65, and very, very unique and weak signal modes out there. What else do we have? Well, we have 7 eyes. He's seeing Italy, Hungary, Sao Tome, Austria. Wow, cool. I'm going to go back because there's been kind of more signals. There's more signals in the past few minutes than there was. So what I'm seeing here is U.S. stations. I'm seeing Spain, EA5EN. PY6ZL. PY6ZL. They are really taking the snow out. I'm hearing the snowblower right now. They are actually removing the snow from the street tonight. PY6. Man, I lost it. There's so many stations that every time that there's a new wow, PY6 ZL, which I believe is Brazil, right? PY6 ZL from Brazil, yep. Jose Ferreira de Lima Fio. Wow. You guys go on QRZ.com, watch PY6ZL page. All the radios he's got there. And clocks. Amazing. You guys got a really nice picture. That's what I like about QRZ.com a lot. Seeing all the pictures of other shacks and what people have. Well, yes, Cesar Pereira got to listen to UVB 76 with the SDR RSP 2, an SDR note, and a small notebook at a park in Porto Alegre, southern Brazil, using a small hula hoop. Hula loop. Yeah, nice. That's cool. Joey D, I noticed some Kiwi SDRs have a little time limit for listening, such as 120 minutes every 24 hours. Why even bother? Why not let the listener keep on listening? You know what, Joey? For a very specific reason. Kiwi SDRs have limited bandwidth. They have limited number of users that can be there at the same time. If you don't put a time limit, you can easily have an SDR that will be hogged by the same guys all the time, that will never unplug, and anybody else won't be able to listen to. I personally think time limit is fine. Because of the limited, if you had unlimited connections and unlimited bandwidth, why bother? Okay, but for the purpose of Kiwi SDRs, which often are only 4 or 8 users at the same time, if you don't put that limit, you will have the same people always hogging on the connection. Some people will just park there, tune, let their computers just 24 hours a day tune to whatever SDR, and they won't care. So that's why we need these limits on Kiwi SDRs. And I think it's fine, honestly. Max S. Strong says, Shell making me want a beer. John Smith. Today I was thinking about attaching a wire-wound hula hoop antenna to the MLA30 preamp. Any thoughts? Try it. Oh, John McClure. Yeah, root beer. Absolutely. Root beer. That did look like root beer much more. Absolutely. With some, like a root beer with some, they call it a floater? Root beer with a ice cream in it. So cheers, everybody. Yeah, a beer stash. Instead of the Movember movement, I have a beer stash. Matt says, okay, should be working. WSJTX was acting up. I'm going to keep an eye. Any other stations there that are interesting? VE2 ESK, so there's a station from here in Quebec. There's F5MYK from France. EA5EN from Spain. CO3JR from Cuba. Right now, there's a lot of stations on 40 meters right now. 7074, 7074 FT8 mode. Simon Templar, nice to have you on board, my friend. VY0 ERC, oh really? I'm going to go to 80 meters. I'm going to go check 80 meters also. So 80 meters FT8, for those that are changing. Let's go down to 80 meters FT8. And the frequency for that is 3573. 3573. Oh man. So many stations. This is going to be crazy. It's going to be interesting to see on 80 meters what we get. Sheldon Harvey, bonjour, hi. Nice to have you on board from Greenfield Park, Quebec. Hope you're feeling better, Sheldon. And it was a pleasure of mine to fill in all alone for the International Radio Report on Sunday. Hope you're feeling better. Julio Cesar Pereira, yes, I'm a PY5WHO. Cool. So we are hearing hams. So 80 meters, I get KF5, KG5, WD9, K0. Oh, there's a IK4. There's an Italian. Look at that, man. 3573. There's so many stations that it scrolls off the screen, actually. IK4 from Italy. There's... oh, man. Let me check it out. IK4 from Italy. There's a... What did I see? I saw a few. EA6 SX from Spain. Lots of US stations, of course. CQ from K3 UA and 9 W3 W2 and 4 RRR. I've seen that guy before. Wow, a lot of stations on 80 meter FT8. We're gonna keep that. DF7GG from Germany. RA9H, I believe, from Russia. Really nice. Lots of stations there, man. My dad, W9JEF on Curzy.com. Put up his ham shack so you can check it out. Yeah, radio, clocks, and maps all together. Trimbale, Mr. Bell. Yeah, well, it's not a Kiwi SDR. The SDR that you're talking about in the Netherlands is the U20, and this is not a Kiwi. It's a very unique and very custom SDR. That one gets hundreds of users, absolutely. Yarabamba, nice to have you on board. A lot of snow fell in Ontario, record for this time of year. How this affects shortwave reception. So here in Montreal also, I believe this is the earliest and amount of with a big amount of snow like this that we had in Montreal. Snow in general does not affect shortwave. Actually, weather in general does not affect shortwave reception. So there shouldn't be any. There's not any effect. Kind of in the fact of snowing, raining, and snow on the ground and so on. Dave Todd likes the K3. Whoops. Trying to find where I was. So Dave Todd likes the K3 FEF Web SDR. I often use SDRs that are in Europe. Like there's one in Sweden that's pretty good. I like a lot. R. Walker, KPH, Kiwi SDR. Doesn't have a time limit as far as I know. Crazy good antenna. Brent, so the software, multi PSK, FLDG, WSJTX. If you put all three of them, you are probably going to decode 80+% of everything that's to decode off there. Of the Dawn says he's on 3924, around that is. Yeah, a lot of 80 meter activity probably there. John McClure, my favorite root beer is the A&W one. A&W root beer is the best. A root beer float. Yeah, Rufus Newt. Cheers. Of the Dawn. It's because you're not in the right mode. 80 meters, so 3924-ish. It's lower sideband you need to be. LSB, lower sideband. Oh, Mr. Frosty, popsicles with beer. I'm not sure I want that. Joey D has 49 meters with tons of signals. Cool. Joe Summer on Newhouse, not bad. 70-74 for 40 meters. WF7I seeing CO3JR, EA5EN. No connection. Yes, absolutely. As Sheldon says, the November 2019 CIDX Messenger is now available. And you can actually ask for a sample copy at cidxclub@yahoo.com. And you know what? It's just so good that Glenn Hauser actually took some of the stuff from the November Messenger, including some of my column, the utility, World of Utility column, and posted it. So that means it's really darn good information if Glenn Hauser takes the time to actually share it. So check it out. If you've never asked for a sample copy, cidxclub@yahoo.com, you'll have a sample copy for free, and you'll be able to actually see how interesting it is. It is not because it's called the Canadian International DX Club that it's just for Canadians. It's for everybody. There's information in there for everyone, and it's really cheap. $10 for a year, $25 3 years. Matt, yes, I am on 80 meters, so if I see your call, Matt, I will let you know. Call CQ, I am on 80 meters right now as 9:29 p.m. or 02:30 UTC, or almost. So if I see your call sign, I'll let you know. Man. IK4 from Italy. WW1WW. That must be I would guess, a special event station for World War I and Remembrance Day, probably. WW1WW. That's nice. Man, there's a lot of stations. OH5VT. OH5. What's OH5? Isn't that Finland? OH5 VT is Finland. There's a Finnish station there. OH5 VT. And WW1WW is... it's a ham station. Wow, unique call. And wow, the guy's got antennas like crazy. WW1WW. Interesting call. Yes, the Canadian International DX Club webpage is updated, cidx.ca. Cool. Trembling Mr. Bill. Yeah, 3592.5 could be RTTY. That's for sure. Two Broke Tim, that's because you had your bad experience is due to something that's out of control. Because RSP1A here is as good, almost as good as my $2,000 ICOM. And I can tell you that that's because I don't know what you were expecting, but the performance side of it, it is as good as expensive radios. Honestly, I would have liked to see your setup and how you actually were using it. Because I tell you, SDR is, if you like to use a computer and a radio, go SDR. That would be my recommendation, honestly. The RSP1A is just amazing. And, wow, crazy performance. And look at the online SDRs, you know, like the Kiwi SDRs on they are all software-defined radios. And look how most of them are performing well. So it's kind of interesting. I would have enjoyed would like to see, Tuborg Tim, what you had, how you had set it up and everything, because, you know, it what you have there as a comment, it's like the comments I get from time to time of people that purchase the ML830. And what I find interesting is that there's that comment from time to time. Oh, I got an ML830, and it's crappy antenna. I would like to see how you set it up and everything. Yeah, Matt, you were really far behind. I was like, oh man, you're answering stuff that is like, you know, an hour behind. So cool that you. So I'm on 80 meters anyways right now, and I am on 3573 FT8 mode, AK4 RQG from Italy. Man. KC3 and 3 WD9 KG5 and E5. There's an OH station from Finland. Pretty interesting. And for triple R, TG9 AKH. TG9, what is that? Costa Rica? Off of my head. TG9. What moves so fast I lost it? Oh, AKH is Guatemala. I wasn't far. I knew it was in that area. Oh, man. Yeah, Brent, and Friday, install those, and Friday we'll actually have live decodes at different modes, and you can actually check that out. And I will try to post a lot of videos on using them also. It's a different world, and it's really crazy. You know, it adds a different dimension to the hobby of radio, honestly. Trying to find Chris Alpha Tango. Nice to have you on board, my friend. New job, better beer. That's perfect. Facebook group, Facebook group is official SWL channel. Once again, I'll post the link here for the Facebook group. Official SWL channel. Same name as the YouTube channel here. And I want it to be an extension to this group, where we share information continuously, 24 hours in between the live shows. Matt is working KG5HTH. Am I seeing that station here? KG5HTH. Man, this is difficult. There's so many stations. It's crazy. I am WA5MD. Man. So many stations popping up. Joe Sombra Nuance says plug is Texan PL600 tuned 40 meters FT8 connected to my laptop into the mic cable and got some decoding. Absolutely. Aero Delva 65, take care, my friend, and see you Friday, possibly, at the Friday show. R. Walker loves his RSP1A. I love mine. What an amazing device it is. Really? WF7i? 5T5PA. I heard a 5T5PA Mauritania on 30 meters this morning when I posted my video. I don't see it here. But anything's possible, you know? Trying to see what other stations I'm getting. This is crazy. City Lights, nice to have you here. Picked up RSP Duo last month and diversity mode tuning with 2 antennas, lowered the noise floor by 10 to 15 dB. To quote Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back on the International Radar Report with you on Sunday. Cool. Cool, Sheldon. Bobby, has anybody have problem uploading to YouTube today? I've uploaded about 10 videos and had no problems. Personally. Make sure you got the latest. Did you check to see if you had the latest version of the YouTube app, Bobby? Keegan, I could not hear the International Radar Report broadcast for November 3rd, but I was able to hear the 10th. Yeah, because if you were, Keegan, if you were listening to the archive, the time shift meant that you had to listen 1 hour later into the Free Kick show to hear the November 3rd one. But it was a nice exercise to be alone on the International Radar Report show this Sunday. You know, kind of having to deal with everything. My only big mess up that I did was the second ID. I had switched off on the board the computer. So when I slided up to put the audio while it was playing, because it was off, it wasn't playing. It was like, oh. I turned it off. But I think I did a good job, honestly. Citrus 90, nice to have you on board. Just heard 5085. Yeah, 5085 is WTWW, and I believe at this time they have the Am Nation show on 5085. Let's tune 5085 on maybe on air. Let's tune 5085 on the Radiowow with the MLA30 loop on it. So here we go. Shortwave. I want to be on shortwave. So, band, shortwave. Here we go. Frequency 5085.
3LR is going to be our
opening
speaker.
It's not super strong tonight.
Going to be there. On the second day, on Monday, we're going to have contesting with people you know. Here's Marty in 1
I like this.
CEO. They are.
So WTWW has Ham Nation, which is a show on the Twit Network. This time 5085. How do we see? Let's see what we see. Yeah, time change is messing up everybody, honestly. Ivan, nice to have you here. Aichalakov ordered a new SDR play. The one they released this month. Is it available now? Because I'm going to order one. I want one for Christmas. And I'll be reviewing it. Zach Kalish says here, number station in English 4724 USB. That's a global command. U.S. Air Force global command emergency action message. So you're listening to the U.S. Air Force sending coded messages. Matt, no, I did not see your call at all, Matt. So I didn't see you show up anywhere on the waterfall. HI8 station. Wow, EA6 station from Spain. What else do we have? DF7 from Germany. Lots of stuff there. Really nice. What else do we have? What else do we have? Work W9AV on 80mm FT8, says WF7I. Cool. If you stay there, Zach, you'll hear them regularly. They pop up with messages from time to time. Matt says, cool, I'm likely getting the new SDR play, but there's a nice looking ephedry that I have an eye on and heard good things about. Forgetting the model number at the moment. Keegan has reception with the Ethon grounding field BT radio, internal antenna. WF7I is working W4TM. Cool. Keegan has 5085 WTWW S5 out of 5. Seastrut, they were going into some good details about Sportic E and sun cycles. Some good info. What I like about SDR Play also is that, think about it. You know when the first SDRs came to computers with these big cards. Remember, guys? You had these big cards for ISA slots. I'm sorry. They're not sluts. Well, a computer slut. So these computers were sluts. That's where the right way to actually pronunciate a word is important. Because slots and sluts aren't exactly the same thing. So I'm sorry. I'm laughing now. So there were some computer sluts out there that were receiving these filthy SDR cards. And they were really expensive. And as time went by, ICOM with the PCR series was very expensive. Look at the performance we get out of the SDR Play devices. Honestly. It's crazy. Really crazy. So, Wizard of Oz just got an SDR RSP1A. Wish I knew about the SDR DX damn. But, honestly, what the DX, the new RSP1A DX, or the RSP1A, the new RSP DX is mostly an improved AM and a medium wave and long wave. If you remove that and remove the fact that it had 2 antenna connectors, well, 3, there's not that much of a difference. The RSP1A is still quite good, honestly. Yvonne says, I love the new AirSpy, but 768 kilohertz max bandwidth is a big problem. Yeah, the AirSpy does 10 megahertz, which is kind of interesting, you know. Well, they are, it comes out to what I said, Moonfest Madness. He's saying that, Amnation was good when it was not an ICOM show. Well, they are sponsored by ICOM. And, that could have happened here, because ICOM, I had discussions with ICOM for sponsorship. And it never happened because I want to say what I think and what I want. I could have asked Texan. I could have asked ICOM. I could have asked, any company to be sponsorship here. But you know what? I want to say if a crappy thing is a crappy thing, that is a crappy thing without any repercussions of anything. So, I'm happy because I can say what I want. And I'd rather purchase my radios. And sometimes purchase them with the help of your donations. And say what I think. Than, Imagine if I had a sponsorship for a second from W6LVP for the loop. Could I have been so harsh and say that the MLA30 is as good and you should not buy that expensive W6LVP loop? No, I would not have been able to say that because I had money in my pocket coming from there. But I purchased a $600 antenna with my own money and your donations to realize that a $44 Chinese amplified loop is as good as a very expensive antenna. And that's why no companies are going to be here for sponsorship. I rather, my monetization on YouTube isn't too bad. And your donations are helping out. Both together, you know what? I got a decent living. And I can say what I want. So if a product is shitty, I can say it's shitty. If a product is good, I say it's good. And I don't owe any companies anything. Chris Williams, nice to have you on board from Memphis, Tennessee, K5RCW. Nice to have you here. What else do we have? Keegan is 41 Fahrenheit in Northwest Arkansas. It's in the 20s here. Right now, it stayed at -9. It's kind of really staying stable. Take care, Prasad Asaldekar from India. What else do we have? No slut shaming. Oh, man. Oh, you shouldn't. City Lights was just commenting on my own comment. There was nothing bad about it, Bobby Burgess. Relax on the blocking and the come on, okay? I'm just gonna say one thing, Bobby, and I don't mean it bad, okay? But do listen to the content and listen to what's happening, and don't just ban somebody because you haven't heard my comments, and because it's obvious since the beginning of the show you're not listening, okay? And I've answered your questions, and you're sending them back. Okay. Look, if you don't want to listen to the content, I don't know. Okay, let's just relax. Yvonne bought a Discovery cheap and okay. What else do we have? WF7i going QRT soon. Yeah. For people, the normal people that work in the morning. Something I don't know. Oh, Don, do you have any C-Crane radios? I don't. I would like to. I would like to have one to test it out, but I find them a little too expensive for what they are, and that's why I don't have one. Okay, Matt. Here's the thing. So it's 600, and here I'll explain why it's 600. So the W6 LVP loop with power inserter is $350 US. Okay, the money I just said was in Canadian dollars, so $350 US. Then he comes up to me and says, "Oh, by the way, you need the AM FM, you need the filters to remove AM and FM stations are really strong. So I've got the filters that remove that add $70. So from $350, we're now at $420. Now, $420 US is 500 Canadian dollars, a little more. When it got here, Canada Post asked me for 70 Canadian dollars for taxes and everything. So I am at 600 Canadian dollars for the W6 LVP. The MLA30 loop in Canadian dollars cost me exactly $59.75. It's a 10-to-1 ratio. The MLA30 is 10 times less expensive for me than the W6 LVP. Joe Samra says, how impressive how the FT8 operates. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you hear nothing. Sometimes I'm on a frequency and I hear nothing, and the software gives me stations, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. I have to try Whisper. I've never tried Whisper. FLDG should normally work, yes, with an online SDR. Yes. My W6 LVP is noisier. Yvonne says, my W6 LVP is great, but I had to do a experimentation for the right place. You have to find an RF quiet spot for it. My W6 LVP is noisier than the MLA30. What else do we have? Todd J. Riddle, nice to have you here from South Dakota. Anybody does some DMR listening? Brian Mulligan, nice to have you here from Lake Havasu, Arizona. Nice to have you here. Donald Hosmer, nice to have you here. If using a loop outdoors, use a rotor to adjust it, then you get the best performance from a loop. But wait, Donald, okay? Because I will be very, very fair on that. Okay? On shortwave, the rotor has very little effect. And I did enough tests to tell you that both on W6 LVP and on the MLA30, rotors on shortwave are not useless, but have very little effect. Okay? I manually rotated my antenna, and I passed a couple of days doing that to notice that unless you're listening to medium wave, because medium wave, yes, super important. That rotation does bring in stations and does help a lot. On very local shortwave stations, example, CHU Canada, for me on 3330, Ottawa is 100 miles away. That was very directional. I could almost null out CHU when it's strong. But if you do the same on shortwave signals from Africa, from Madagascar, from Romania, from Asia, you turn it and there's pretty much nothing in a difference in the S meter. Okay, and actually on the W6LVP instructions, they actually tell you that for shortwave, a lot of the signals don't have much of a difference when they're far away. And that the best use of the loop is to put it in a position where you have the lowest noise rather than trying to, get the performance with a rotor. Okay? So, that said, I'm sorry, but MLA30 beats the crap out of these antennas. And I'm sorry, but I will say it very clear. Stop wasting your money on a W6LVP or a Walbrook. Okay? Because we are in a new era where for $50 you get an antenna that works as well. And I'm sorry, but the Chinese MLA30 is as good as these big gun antennas. And I can attest to it with real tests here at my home. Because I did spend the money. If I had known, I would have 5 MLA30s rather than 1 W6LVP and 2 MLA30s. That's all I got to say. Now, that said, if you've got a W6LVP, if you've got a Walbrook, you got a darn good antenna. Congratulations. But we are in a moment where if you don't have one, don't spend $500, $300, $400 on these antennas. It's wasting your money. That's all I got to say. But if you got one, keep it, be happy. It works great. Absolutely. AI's hobby channel. Fairly new to shortwave. Bought a realistic DX100. What are your thoughts on this particular radio? Oh, so you bought that thing here. Look, have fun with it. But it's far from performing as well as, if you got it for $5 or $10, perfect. Have fun with it. But it doesn't perform like today's radios, that's for sure. That's for sure. What else do we have? WF7I, guys, I'm going to bed. Take care, my friend. No, it's not. It's not a bad at all. That's not what I'm saying. I've never said that W6LVP loop is a bad antenna. So the thing is that W6LVP loop performs well for what it is. Like the Walbrook performs well for what it is. But the thing is, you know what? The MLA30 does the same job. And that's the thing. You know what? I'm not frustrated at buying it. There's some people that said, well, you must be frustrated. I'm not. You know what? Because it gave real-world experience here and real-world videos of, look, guys, these two antennas, they are compared to each other. And I'm happy because, honestly, I'm happy to have been able to show you guys tests of the same signal with two different antennas that are, one is 10 times the price of the other. And here's the result. So for that, I'm extremely happy. And honestly, it's there. And I got 2 loops. Right now, my W6LVP is on the 80 meter band with FT8. My MLA30 right now is on my portable receivers. I got 2 loops. to play with. You know. You know what? MDK2, there's different pricings. So you got $250 for the base one. $350 is for the base plus power inserter. And then you've got extras like the filters and so on. But I'm not frustrated or anything. So at $250 is really the basic with no filters, anything. And in Canada you got the shipping and everything. Matt says I accidentally fried mine, so I have to get that cheaper loop anyway. Mini whip is different, City Lights. I can't say, and I can't compare mini whip. I need to buy a mini whip, honestly. Matt has 5T5 PA Mauritania on 80 meters. I haven't seen him. I seen him on 30 meters this morning, but I don't see him here right now, so it's not here. From what I see, look, University of 20 in Netherlands, they use a mini whip. Look how amazing reception is over there, but it has to be in a quiet environment. Yeah, that's the thing, Mantambali. When you're on an antenna that is very, very directional, that's important for to have a rotor. But it's not necessarily important on a loop, except if you do long wave and medium wave. There, it's important because there you are very directional. David Martin, I don't know about FT8. Seems too good to be true. Like getting a robocall or text. I want to hear a voice. Yeah, you're on the side, David Martin. We were talking about that on the Facebook group today, actually. And it's very cold. Yes, FT8, JT65, FT4, Whisper. I call them cold modes because you don't have the feel of a contact like talking to someone, or even the digital modes where you were actually having to write something to someone. And for that, I totally understand, and I think there are different ways of thinking, But they're amazing modes. FT8 out of the noise is some of the best that you can get out there. That thing is crazy. You have just noise and you'll be able to pick up a ham station through that noise. It's just amazing. And it's not to everybody's liking. And honestly, there's one thing that annoys me of FT8. Because when we listen to FT8, so for example, here I see 20 stations popping up at the same time. Because that means there's a lot of hams at the same time. And they're all on different frequencies or different, slightly different frequency from the original frequency. And the software decodes all of that at the same time. One thing I miss of FT8 is when you listen to, let's stay in the digital signals. When you listen to our radio teletype or a PSK31 or a MFSK 16 or whatever, 32, an Olivia 16500, there's only one signal at a time. So what you are listening to, for example, that 5T5 station in Mauritania, if it would be on Olivia 16500, you'd have to listen to one signal, decode it, and you know that what you're listening to is Mauritania. you can listen to it. You know that is Mauritania. Here, you get 25 signals together. Yeah, you're listening to Mauritania in there, 5T5PA. But you can't pinpoint which one it is. That is probably more of a kind of a bummer for me on FT8 and all of that than other modes. But still, you know, that's the way it is. Our Walker says my router is essential for nulling local noise while trying to pick up weak utility stations. Here the noise is in the same direction. I've noticed that my loops, they have to be placed northeast, southwest. And they just stay there because that's how I receive the best of pretty much everything. Oh, if you're in a very, very quiet environment, you don't need any of these loops. You need just a big, long wire and that's it. David Martin, I'm just skeptic. I want to see the details of the signal processing to see how it pulls out signals from the noise we can't hear at all. Well, you know, there's no fake in there. There's no fake in there, you know. It's just crazy algorithms and computer algorithms. Bro Weaver, got a question. What if you had two loops and used adapter T on coax? Would having two loops hooked up, would this help your signal? I don't know. I would have to try it, because I don't know. Brian Mulligan, do you think I can get this MLA30 loop to work with a cheap RTL SDR from Amazon? You know, the problem with the cheap RTL SDR is that their performance isn't super good, and the front end of the cheap RTL SDR are so bad that if for some reason that MLA30, for example, brings in a lot of strong signals, it might not be the best way to do it. Our Walker is happy with both W6 LVP permanently mounted and using MLA30 as portable. Look, I got a my W6 LVP and MLA30 mounted permanently. I'm happy to have both. I paid for them, and that's fine. I got in the box still here the second MLA30, and it's gonna be my DXpedition antenna. I'm gonna go out and bring that somewhere. And here's an example. Our Walker, and that's exactly what I do also. If anything happened to his W6 LVP, he'd replace it with an MLA30. It's simply a question of, look, for the price paid, man, that is better. Bro Weaver, yes, I would say the same thing if that W6 LVP was made, if it was a VE2 LVP, which would be a Quebec-made antenna, I'd say the same thing. I have no allegiance to saying whatever because of where it is made. But come on, 10 times the price. Think about it. 10 times the price. Okay? We're not talking about $20. For $20, I would recommend the W6 LVP because it's made here in North America, not in China. If it would be in Quebec or in Canada, I would say take that thing for $20. But come on. Okay? Think about just the basic level. Let's say that it costs you, because you got a $250 or $300 US antenna. Okay, let's put it in US dollars, because we'll put the MLA30 in US dollars. You have a choice. MLA30, 44 US bucks shipped. W6 LVP at its cheapest, 250, 300 bucks. What are you going to do? It's not $20 difference. If you were getting that performance for 300 bucks, I would say go for it. But at 44 US bucks, you're getting here the same darn performance than that 300 bucks antenna. That's all I'm saying. I mean, come on. It's a question of math. It's not a question of where it's made. You know what? I am honestly, personally past that. Where it's made, China, US, Canada, Europe, whatever. I'm not there. If it's the same price I am, I will favor one over the other for where it's made if it's only 15, 20, 25, 30 bucks. But come on. In my case, 10 times the difference. The hell with the W6 LVP. If that thing drops down to 3 stories where I'm living here, I'm replacing it with an MLE30. It's just that. It's not something negative. The W6 LVP, and please note, everything that I've said, I talk about price versus performance. Did I at some point say W6 LVP is bad? No. Did I say at one point W6 LVP doesn't perform well? No. I just said the other thing that is really less expensive is the same thing. So go for it. Our Walker says W6 LVP just isn't 10 times better than MLE30. In some ways it's better. In some others the W6 LVP is better. It's kind of a you know, there's like you just gotta just take it to a level where it's just different. You know, it's like, you know, they perform well, but you gotta decide how much you want to spend. 3830 Radio Man. Yeah, my sloper is kind of in a sloper environment. It's kind of like not really there right now. But it's so noisy that I'm not even sure. You know, winter would bring my sloper down. I'm not sure I would put it back up. Take care, Jao Samblan US. It's nice to have you on board, my friend. Sid Williams, nice to have you here. Thanks for the nice comments. Take care, Ivan. Nice to have you on board. Always. Our Walker says one nice thing about the MLE30 is you don't have to steal the BNC connectors, the loop wire like the W6 LVP. And that's the thing also. You know what? There's one thing that I will rant on the W6 LVP. Okay? You need a cable, coax cable with BNC connectors. When I got the MLA30, it came with a pretty long length of cable. Not the best in the world, I will admit. I seen a lot of the modifications of the MLA30. And the thing is, it comes with a cable. Anyways, W6 LVP comes to your home and costs you a fortune, and you got to go and get coax and BNC connectors. And I gotta say one thing: if there's one rant I gotta say about that, it should be in that damn box at the price that I paid for it. Okay? No, our Walker. People on the Facebook were ranting at other things. It was, you know what? I understood one thing, that if for certain people and certain groups, I am in competition. Those groups made me feel that I was in competition. And, you know, one day somebody came up to me and said, well, you know, you post your You post this or that to that place, and you do this and that place. And what about our group? If I don't post to your group, it's not because I don't want to. It's not because I have anything against you. It's because I just didn't. I'm not that type of guy. Especially for shortwave stuff. For shortwave stuff, I got zero competition. If I was in competition, I wouldn't advertise any of you guys' YouTube channels. I would not talk about other people's shortwave stuff. I'm not in competition here. Not on the shortwave channel. And I felt on some Facebook group that, oh, okay, so you're ranting at the fact that I posted on that group and not your group, and that's like, you know what? The hell with it. I don't need that. And I really, 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 really am a little like, if I would have a, anyway, I'll just say, you know what? The hell with the Facebook groups. Okay, I got mine. We're here. We're happy together, and that's it. And let's talk about radio and stay in that field. There's no competition here. Everybody should be happy to be here, and I am happy to be here, and that's it. We're enjoying a hobby. But you know what? There's some high egos out there that have Facebook groups. And I won't mention, because there are things that I know that some of these people in the Facebook groups think I don't. Hey, I'm a YouTuber that talks to other YouTubers that do the same thing. We talk about a lot of stuff. If I want to be a badass, I could mention names of people that I know are badass F-ers, okay? And I am not. Because I'm a gentleman and we're enjoying radio here. And that's it. And that's all I got to say. So, Bro Weaver, W6LVP is custom loop. It's like pocket knives. You can buy a $20 buck life. But you know what? Not true. Because a $20 knife is not that custom knife. The custom knife has an added value to it. You know, in business, we have something called added value to a product. I've been in business for 20 years. I did it as a tech guy. I do it as a YouTuber because I'm sorry, but this is my job. I got a paycheck out of this. You know what? There is something called added value to what you do. And W6LVP is not added value. Actually, compared to the MLA30, it's pretty darn expensive for what it is. That's all I got to say. I do understand that it's not the same. You know, he probably does. It's there. You know, he's not making 50 W6LVP loops per day or something. I don't know, but come on. I mean, I'm sorry, but you know, I get a lot of ranting because I promote Chinese stuff. I'll actually say it exactly as I get it every day. I got one this morning. Hey, you should drop dead, you asshole, because that's exactly the message that I got this morning for promoting cheap Chinese crap rather than U.S. goods. You know, you wake up in the morning and you got that in your face. Yeah. David Martin, MLA30 plus STL SDR USB dongle, greatest shortwave starter configuration for under $75. I would say something more like MLA30 loop with an RSP1A. You've got a killer startup SDR stuff. Bobby says, you're right about one thing about when it comes to uploading videos to YouTube. I'm not uploading a video right now on the website. Things that change is not yet on the app. Any comedy shows on Shortwave? I've never heard one too, City Lights. I've never. The only thing that, David taught, the only thing that might make a difference, and that's what I see mostly in the people that have changed a coax, is not in the loss, but it's in the noise. A better coax has less noise in it. But, it's funny because I got good coax from the W6LVP, and I don't see much difference with the coax that comes on the ML830. And that's kind of interesting. Dave Todd's got 820 CHAM out of Hamilton, Ontario. Well, there's a few U.S. companies that still make receivers of very high-end receivers. Joey D says, Shell, most online chat is toxic, loads of negativity and contrarians. Yep, I know. That's why here I want to, be just... Let's just be fair and be happy with what we have. Or walkers, the same people who talk about you promoting U.S. goods and give you grief probably shop at the Walmart. Absolutely, I'm not feeding, but it's like at some point you're like, I'm just like we're here. That's why I'm here, to be fair, be okay, be open. And you know what? The Facebook group is a nice place with great people, and we're having fun. And same thing. Fair people just being good people, enjoying their hobby. That's all. That's all. Kimberly! Well, you guys should see what I get on my tech channel. That Shortwave channel is nothing compared to my tech channel. I should probably drop dead at least a dozen times a week. You get used to it. But, it's difficult at the start. Honestly, it's difficult. I remember one guy that I won't mention his name, but you guys know him, came to me and said, I got hate mail on my YouTube channel. Do you have that? And how do you deal with it? And I remember saying, you know what? It's if you're on YouTube, you got to deal with it. You'll have to make yourself a wall and just deal with it. And I said, if you want to stay on YouTube, you got to deal with it, because you have no idea how people are in front of their screens. So imagine people on the other side on their screens, they know that you're not in their face. So they tell you things that are really, really, really hurtful, And I deal with that every week and every day. And, I've pretty much made myself a wall where it doesn't affect me that much. And you got to deal with that. It's life, and it's especially internet life. Something new, It's like cyberbullying or some sort. Trying to make you feel bad because you do good things. That's pretty much what's happening. Garden Lyle, 31 meters is open pretty good tonight in southern Illinois. WRI 810 on my Drake R8. What is it on 93.95? Let's check it out. Am I getting 93.95? 93.95. I'm not getting 93.95. Well, it's weak. Rather weak. 77.80. Oh yeah, with Brother Stare, 77.80. Let's move quickly to something else. Wow, Cuba tonight is amazing on 6,000. For once, they have a good audio.
The decision-making process is in the hands of the delegates and deputies of the people. The historic leader of the Cuban Revolution was a person...
Radio Van in Cuba. Pretty good tonight. They often have a lot of audio problems. Can we pick up Radio Venecuba on this old radio here? This old. It's not even old. Yeah.
In my notes on the revolution of November 6th, I tried to express the many pivotal moments from 1953 to the beginning of the 21st century.
It's not super good, but there's a lot of FM breakthrough. But Cuba was there on that cheap QFX boombox. Oh man. What else do we have? What do we have? Donald Hosmer. I'll stick to my W6LVP as it is well mounted. Oh, you don't need to change it. It worked great. But if you want a new loop, add an MLA30. You're going to be really, really happy. Carl Womble, great show tonight. Thank you so much. But, you know, that's the thing, Donald. It's W6LVP. You have a great loop. But, you know, if you need a second one, you got an MLA30 and you'll be amazed at what it is. That's mostly yes. Matt, wow, Radio Venecuba pretty good on 6000. Yeah, it's really strong. Pretty good. See, lights. Oh, man. No need for a tinfoil hat here. I'm not going through your minds. Matt says, cylinder string is often good, but modulation is poor. Yeah, that's pretty much what's happening most of the time. But tonight is pretty good. Bobby Burgess, what I really like is you are a big keeper. Some people would just like to go find where they are at and make them kneel to that person who they offended. No, I'm not. I'm not there. I move on, and we don't need that. We need great people that have a lot of fun. Kimberly says, I had such a bully and their family. Long story. Dad worked at GTE phone company. Every time we changed our phone and unlisted it, they would get it. My mom unlisted our number and they got it. Man, crazy. Crazy. David Martin, I did buy RSP1A last month. I like it. Having used a RTL SDR V3 for a year, I understood the couple of issues of RSP1A would fix, and it did. Images and HF frequencies below. Yeah, it's not the same thing. It's not in the same category of devices. Yeah, that is terrible, Kim. Steve P. in Australia. Nice to have you here. Nice to have you on board. And as we are here, hey everybody, if you are thinking of a little something, paypal.me/shortwave. And if you're on PayPal, of course, the Yahoo email to oops, let's do that again. PayPal, the Yahoo email that you can actually donate a little something if you enjoy the content, if you enjoy what I do, if you would like me to test more devices, if you'd like me to buy a C-Crane, if you'd like me to do something to just, help out, well, that's how you can do it. There's also Patreon, where there are 12 patrons, and you can join in and give us something every month. Put it automatic. Patreon.com/radio and computers. Hope you're enjoying the content as we are talking shortwave, talking radio. This is the Wednesday edition. I can't believe that we've been on for, 3 hours and 30 minutes now? Pretty crazy. It's Wednesday. What's happening into the world on Wednesday? Oh, man. Okay, so Radio Havana Cuba coming in really strong. What's my favorite kind of soup? I like cream of broccoli or cream of stuff like that, and the soup with loops. But one of my soups that probably brings me back from when I was young is because my mom would do this in the wintertime, especially when I was sick, is chicken noodle, but with a little twist in it. You make the chicken noodle soup and you drop a can of tomato juice in it. And it's great. It's really, really good. Chicken noodle with a can of tomato juice in it. Any plan to try the new SDR Play DX when it comes out? I am thinking about purchasing one when I get it available. At the price that it's being sold, I can actually manage to get one for Christmas. So I will order one, test it out, and review it. And possibly it will become my main radio, replacing my RSP-1A. Bro Weaver, I forgot is Canadian Thanksgiving the same as US? No, it's not. We had ours in October. You guys have yours in... What is it? Is it next weekend? Is it this coming weekend that you guys are getting Thanksgiving? Mine is, here in Canada, was last month. It was October. King of Kings. Nice to have you here. Yeah, it is good. I'm going to try that soup, Kimberly. I got your recipe. I printed it out, actually. And I will be doing it in the next week. I really want to try that soup. It sounds just delicious, Kimberly. That black bean and salsa noodle soup. I'm sure it's really good. Honestly. So, cooking videos. You know what, Bro Reaver? When I started doing YouTube, so let's go back a little bit here, okay? Is the 28th, Gordon Lyle? Okay, cool. Because I wonder when it was, what weekend. I wasn't sure what weekend you guys had Thanksgiving exactly. Okay. I can tell you guys, when I started YouTubing in like 2010, 2011. Wow, Sheldon Harvey, Christmas is 6 weeks from today. And it feels like Christmas with the snowstorms right now that we just had. Fourth Thursday. Is it always... Oh, is that a rule, Matt? The fourth Thursday of November? Every year? I didn't know that. Because if you tell me that, I will now know that it's always that. I didn't know that there was a rule. Yeah, the Canadian Thanksgiving is always the same day as Columbus Day. Absolutely. Okay. Oh, wow, cool. Okay, thanks for the info. I will now know. I will now know when it is, because I will always remember that rule. So when I started YouTubing, I actually did experiments of what channels could be popular on YouTube. And I had... Man, when I started YouTubing, you don't think about all the effort you need to do content. When I tell you guys on the Monday video, this is what I plan to do this week, and this is what happened. So I planned this, and you guys get this. And I sometimes get a email or a message, somebody saying, "Well, you promised that it would be." Man, you should come here and be in my life and understand how it's a long process to just sit down, make a video, post it online, and now put that and think about the fact that I'm actually taking care of 4 YouTube channels full time. So you got to make a choice, and some channels sometimes need more. There's one channel that drives a lot of views, and it's my tech channel. My tech channel is like 100 times bigger than this one, and so you got to make choices in what you will do, because there's 24 hours in a day. So when I started in 2010, 11 to do YouTube stuff, kind of in the hopes that it could become a professional life, it could be my paycheck, I did so many different ideas. I had one which was kind of humor / funny, what the hell things. I did one that was, I did a lot of stuff. One was retro gaming. That's still online. Old Computer Museum. But one of them was a cooking show, because I like and I love cooking a lot. And I do a lot of recipes. And I thought it could be cool. And when sometimes you're thinking about something and you say maybe it doesn't work, and you look at the channel 3-4 years later, and you're like, wow, maybe I missed the boat there. I didn't give it time. I had a cooking channel. I did actually have maybe 20 or 30 recipes that I did live there and posted. Not live, but did a video and posted it there. And one day, I kept track of all the channels that I did. And one day I came across a file on my PC, and it says, YouTube channels that I was doing stuff on a certain date. So it was like YouTube channels, active YouTube channels, November 2014. And I'm like, oh wow, look at all the channels I created that I don't do nothing about, that I don't really use anymore. And a lot of them are still online. I just don't do anything. But I saw the cooking one, and I was curious. So I went to the cooking channel, and I looked at the videos. And there was maybe 20, 25 videos. Every single video had more than 100,000 views. And I was like, whoa, people want to have cooking videos. My channel was called Fast and Easy Cooking. They were recipes that were good, that you made at home in less than an hour, including cooking time. And that's where I realized, maybe I did miss the boat on that one. Maybe I should have continued. People want to have easy, good recipes that they can do. But I got caught in the fact that, you can't take care of 18 channels at the same time. It doesn't work like that. I barely have time to keep track of what I do right now every week. So at some point, you got to make a choice. And I made some choices, It's crazy. Gordon Lyle, I'm officially Flash Gordon now. That was my junior high nickname. Was Gordo for 10 years on my bowling leagues. Crazy. Sheldon Harvey, John KD20WJ just got sent his free sample of the November CIDX Messenger. Woohoo, John. You know, a lot of channels are repeated. You know, my tech channel is a lot of news about the Windows and pretty, like, you know, pretty kind of a that tech channel is more of a news event of what's happening in the world right now in tech and Windows, mostly Windows and Microsoft world. Matt says, actually, it's funny. You may not remember this, but I used to use an old Windows 7 machine, and Jill had an old Windows 7 channel. Yes, I did. That channel was very popular also. Keegan says, I found this channel when I searched for Grundig S450 DLX on YouTube. Wow. Rob says, thanks, Jill. Did not know you had all those channels. Great stories. You know, I'm the type of guy that when I start something, I want to start it, but be intense and successful in it. So what happened with YouTube for me is I wanted to live. I thought, hey, if I can live off of YouTube, have a decent salary, and live off of all of this, man, that would be so cool. So when, of course, when I got my monetization on YouTube, I thought, can I really make it happen that I live off of YouTube? Which I do right now. Okay? I don't do tech jobs anymore. I live off of my YouTube content. But I remember thinking, is it something that I can do? Is it something that's possible? And when I start something, I'm really intense. And, you know, I was super motivated also at the time. I was like, oh, man, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make money off of YouTube, and I'm going to live off of YouTube, and blah, blah, you know. But that's the thing. It's like you... oh, I hear the snowblower on the street. So anyways, the thing is I did a gazillion different channels. I don't know if you guys can see this. I don't know if I can quickly show something here. Just 2 seconds. I know Kimberly in California will like that. I don't know if you guys are going to see it, but very, very quickly for Kimberly in California. I know she likes to see out the window, but it's very difficult to see right now. So you see the blinking lights are the snow trucks. They're actually removing the snow off of they're removing the snow off the ground. So anyways, probably didn't see much, but I know Kimberly gets a kick off of this, and that's for you, Kimberly. I just wanted to let you see. Sorry guys, I know that you guys don't hear me much when I'm not in front of the microphone. I'm just gonna unplug. And back we are. It's okay. So anyways, that's how they remove snow, but I would have had to shut down all the lights for you guys to see, unfortunately. Sorry, Kimberly. Would have been nice to you to see it a little even more. Oh, man. So anyways, Kimberly, snowblower. So anyways, they're removing the 8 inches of snow. This is how we do it here. Just crazy. So, you know, it's funny because there's a lot of... I do a lot of search on shortwave stuff myself, and I do a lot of search on computer stuff. And I noticed that when I do searches, even on friends' computers that don't know much of what I do, I noticed that Google has a lot of links that push my channels, which is kind of nice actually. Gordon Lyle, new video series, dinner with Shortwave. Make different dishes while we tune Shortwave. Today, while we listen to Radio Romania, we will be actually doing this, you know. Bobby Burgess found me as a tech person first, and later on found you as a radio person. Kimberly, I would love to see that cooking channel sometime, Michelle. Maybe you could post the link to the Facebook page. Yeah, I'm going to check it out and try to find it. I believe the videos are still online. And we'll let you know. Zanny13 found this channel about 1 hour ago. Wow. We're looking for reviews of the ML830. Cool. That is nice. That is nice. Oh, man. I can't barely remember running into the Spanish guy, dark-haired with a mustache. Oh, man. Oh, God. 74 degrees. Yeah, here it's minus 8 now. So it's like in the 20s. Minus 8 Celsius. I'm waiting for the Zamboni to smooth it out. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, God. So, guys, we've been on for 3 hours and 47 minutes. That's pretty good, eh? How about it? Hope you enjoyed the show today. We'll be back Friday at 20 UTC. Hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget, if you like what I do, don't forget for donations. Always helpful. Really helps me a lot in what I do. And so we are going to tell everybody to take care. Don't forget the Facebook group. Great place to be. I'll just share it right now. And it has the same name as my YouTube channel, official SWL channel. And we talk about radio. It's kind of, an extension of what we do here on YouTube. And why not post your own shack, whatever you're listening to, and interact and have fun with radio. We need to have fun with radio, and that's it. No problem, Matt. Take care, and see you next week. Absolutely. Oh well, yeah. I'm not too negative on the haters and stuff. I talk about it because it's part of a YouTuber's life, and it's part of what a public life is probably all about. So, no problem. I am the mysterious voice behind the camera. Absolutely. So take care, everybody. Love you all. Stay safe. Hope you enjoyed today's show. It was fun to do a little bit of FT8. So Friday, digital modes. We'll decode them live. So you know what? All of you hams out there, take the time to set up for all sorts of modes and frequencies, and let us know where you are on Friday. We're going to try to tune you guys in, and take care. Love you all. Stay safe, and listen to the radio. It helps. Bye, everybody. Peace.